Al,
Yes.
are you ready to talk for 5 hours?
Hopefully not 5 hours, but I'm excited to talk.
Always excited to talk. We have played a game for a combined 160 hours.
That's impressive.
It's a lot of time.
You realize that's how much I put into the last one, right?
I mean, you also this time didn't have the benefit of getting to play that game twice before I had played it yet. So
That's true. I think I played it again when you played it. I think
yeah, I
that's
think that
why I
was the
did.
case. But like also like you didn't have a chance to play the game again while I was going through it as well. So
Yes, yes.
that also kind of helps things here. Well, hello, welcome to this week's episode of the seasonal anime checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hello.
And we got a long game to talk about today, a game that is the culmination of a sub-series of a series, which makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to talk to you about The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Tox 4.
IV.
Iv.
A long game that just came out here in the States. Came out in Japan in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Only out on the PlayStation 4 as of this recording, coming out on the Switch and the personal computer next year.
Mm-hmm. This has easily been my most anticipated game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so stoked.
I'm kind of bummed they did, when they localized the title for this game, they did not include the subtitle.
The subtitle?
Yeah, because Trails of Cold Steel is the subtitle,
Mm-hmm.
and then the subtitle was the end of saga.
Yes.
Because like that's the perfect way to describe this game.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, why would you cut that off?
Because they're rude.
They are very rude. This is a wild game because like this is a game that is like the culmination of stories they started 15 years ago with Trails in the Sky. Like, what other series is doing that right now?
I I can't think of any. I mean, it's wild. It's super wild.
Especially because like that's so hard to just like do in general. Like even like have like a trilogy of games like and keep the storytelling fresh and everything. But doing that over the course of 9 games.
Yeah.
Like
Is it nine?
that's
1, 2, 3. Yeah,
3
it's nine.
Trails and Skies, 2 Crossbell, and 4 Talks.
Yeah, you're right.
It's real wild. But yeah, they managed to do it here.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Everyone's here.
Yeah, literally everyone's here. Like, I don't know what's like the closest analogy you can make to this, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in a way.
Yeah, basically.
Like that's the only thing that I can think of that's close, at least in terms of like modern media
Hmm.
currently. So like, it's a very interesting and wild thing to do. Um, but yeah, this is the end of the Trails of Cold Steel saga of this story
Hmm.
that they started with Trails in the Sky and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a long game, which of course it is because it's the Trails of Cold Steel game, and you kind of come to expect that with these games in general.
Yeah. But I mean, I dig it. It doesn't feel like it's that long for me.
It's because you cruise through it and just don't do anything else but play these games when they come out.
I mean, yeah. You're not wrong. I just get lost in them and I'm like, oh, hey, it's 3 in the morning. Whoops. I haven't done anything with my day other
Oh god, I
than,
should go to bed, I guess.
oh God, did I eat? I don't know.
It's a very scary thing.
Yeah. It was great though. It was so fun.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into the specifics of the story and everything, which is going to be a very long, drawn out thing, because there's a lot of story in this game and a lot to talk about.
Yep.
As the end of the Trails of Cold Steel saga,
Hmm.
how did you feel this game ranks up with the rest of the series?
I mean, it was really, really good. I can't decide at this point. it's between like 2 and 4 on which ones are the best.
Which is it's interesting because like they both 2 and 4 have the same formula they use essentially.
Yes.
Where like I was playing through
Yeah.
this a lot, playing through a lot of this, and I was just like, man, this very much feels like how 2 was set up, in terms of just like what you're doing initially, what your goals are initially, and then like where the game kind of goes later on.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like just very similar setups in regards to both of those games. I mean, it's similar to how 1 and 3 are kind of similar in terms of how they begin and how their world setup is and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
So like it's not super surprising like that's the case here,
Yeah.
especially with where the series has kind of gone. Um,
Um, I mean, it might be the newness factor of it, and also the fact that they were able to tie in so much stuff from Sky and Crossbell. But like this one might top it for me.
it's pretty good.
I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, and it's also very, very satisfying for me to see stuff that like I played in Sky earlier this year, like come up and be relevant. I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, this is amazing. And like, there were certain moments playing this that I was screeching at my TV because I was so excited.
I mean, like we said, like this is a culmination of literally like the stories they set up in Trails in the Sky, the stories they set up in the Crossbell games, all coming together for this very game.
Yeah.
So like there's so many like references to those characters that you would have seen in those games and everything, and some of them appear, some of them don't, but some of them are brought up and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
It's a lot. Like there's a lot of characters in this game.
There's a lot.
From like there's at least like I don't know, I think almost 40 playable characters.
Jeez.
And then couple that with all of the side characters you run into. There are so many characters in this game, and they all are like meaningful, which is the
Yeah.
wild part.
Yeah. Like there's no throwaway character here.
Something. It is something. That's to say the least. I think gameplay wise, there's not a whole lot different from like 3.
Mm-mm.
Like most of it's pretty much the same. Like it's the same engine they used for 3 and everything. The gameplay is relatively the same. Like there's new S crafts that you can get, but like other than that, there's not a whole lot different.
No, like you've still got orders that you can
Mhm.
do. You still have like the burst and rush and follow up attack
Yeah.
system. Like it's basically the same
Yeah.
battle system.
Mini games are again relatively the same. You have fishing, which I don't think they really changed much of all from fishing from 3 to
No.
4.
Fishing is the exact same.
Vantage Masters is back,
Blech.
which they kind of they did add to that. There's
Yeah.
new master cards and like cards in general, so like there is more to that version of the mini game than what was in 3. You can play blackjack and poker because obviously why wouldn't you want to play some blackjack and poker? I love those card games.
Do not
then-
say it like this.
And then they added like a very bad ripoff of Puyo Puyo.
Apparently, it's in the Crossbell games.
Still
So-
bad.
Well, I'm just saying that like it didn't come out of nowhere. Like that game has been in Crossbell.
But still bad.
Those two are basically impossible for me.
I got
And-
through them.
Well, yeah, but you're better at the card game than
flex
I
on
am,
them.
and I got pretty far with the Puyo Puyo.
The Puyo Puyo gets very difficult near the end because like it's not like regular Puyo Puyo in the sense of like, you can maneuver your pieces both horizontally and vertically.
Mm-hmm.
You can only do it horizontally, which is not fun. And then like near the end, the characters you will be facing are able to just like instant drop and just form combos immediately. To the fact that like there's queuing points just like right off rip, and it's just like, oh god, I gotta survive this. I just hope I can get some combos, and then maybe I can force them to lose
Yeah.
and get lucky. It's rough. And I think Vantage Masters as well gets a little bit more difficult the later you go on because like there's definitely times where like I couldn't just stick to like the same deck that I had been using throughout the game. Like I had to make 3 different decks in this game just to get through a lot of the fights, and like by the end of it I was sticking to like 2 specific ones that was just like one that I could kind of get through most fights that were, not that difficult. But then I had like another one that was just like, here is a very beefy MasterCard, and then just like a ton of high mana costing cards that I can just throw on my front line and just wail on enemies with, and just like have a good defense setup.
Yeah, next time I play this, I'm going to do a share play and just bring you in for all the card games.
Yeah, I would do that. I like this card game, so I would be totally down for that.
Because I'm just like, ah. So
Um,
you will be called upon to beat people in a children's card game.
dude, I will do that. They should run away scared as soon as they can. Yeah. Also, like the mech battles are again basically the same.
Yeah,
They have not iterated on those at all since they brought those in, which is kind of a bummer because all it is just you're playing rock paper scissors. But yeah, it's again mostly the same.
It's a little bit different. Especially in a certain fight, you have like orders that you can give as a mech.
Yeah, but like for the most part, it's not different. Like they like you said, like they added like a small little bit, but like they didn't change like how the fights work or anything like that. And it's basically it's the same as in like 3, where you could have like like a buddy come in and they can do stuff like send out attacks or give you support skills and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah,
for the most part, again, like the regular battle system, it's roughly the same.
yeah. You just got to find the weak point and go for it.
Yep. But the real, of course, meat and potatoes of this game is the story, which there is a ton of.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to talk about because there's just so much happening throughout the entirety of this game. So, like, I guess this would be the time we're gonna talk spoilers.
Yeah.
This is an 80-hour game that we both played. If you do not want to be spoiled, hop out. If you want to be spoiled, hop in.
But also just, it's good.
Hop in the train. Choo choo.
Choo choo. This is the train to Spoilerville. Where's the train that normally yells during our podcast? Where are you, train?
I don't know. It's not around.
Ah.
It'll show up at some point.
Okay.
So yeah, let's talk about this here story. There's a lot of characters you get to play as in this game, such as Reen Schwarzer, who obviously after the end of 3 has been captured and tied up, but eventually you'll get him back because of course.
Yep.
Uh,
he is the main character.
He, in a way, unfortunately, he is.
Did you say unfortunately?
I did say unfortunately.
Okay.
We'll get into that though. Both class 7s are here. And then also you have the main protagonist of Trails in the Sky.
Estelle! I think we kind of have a situation. Well, it's a little bit different. I was going to say Estelle and Joshua are kind of like deuteragonist type situation. I think we kind of have that here, that we have Reen and Yuna.
It's kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit different because of the situation with how it plays out, but like it's kind of their stories.
Like Yuna obviously is the protagonist for before they are able to recapture Reen.
Mm-hmm.
But then once they recapture Reen, it's just like, oh hey Yuna, go back to the sidelines. Which sucks because I think she does a great job of carrying this game throughout, like for her portion of it, and then the fact that they're just like, well, Reen's now the main protagonist again. I was like, that's kind of a bummer because like I think it would have been better if if it was like you. I understand why you would do this because like this is still Reen's story. Like the Trails of Cold Steel series is his story, but like Yuna does a fantastic job of carrying the story for like the first like third of this game. Yeah. And then just to get shunted off to like the sidelines for the next 2/3 of the game sucks.
Well, I mean, she plays a pretty big part in some of like the story beats and how she's handling it and talking to people. And I mean, I don't think it would have been the same situation without her.
Yes, but also like she's not the main focal point, and like they barely kind of go to her unless it's like a very specific reason. Like it is very much once you get Reen, it is the Reen show all the way.
Yeah.
Which again is a bummer. But yeah, you have Estelle, Joshua are here, Ren, Agate, and then Tita, of course. No, he's a gate,
A
please.
gate.
Tina's
uh,
here because she was here in 3.
Randy Orlando.
And then the Crossbell folks also show up this time for reals.
For reals, reals.
We get Lloyd,
Except for
Ellie.
not all of them.
Not all of them, but like the main party you usually roll with.
Yeah.
Like Lloyd, Ellie, T.O., Randy, Orlando, and then we get Kia as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's interesting that we have a model for what's her name, Risha, but she's like off doing things.
yeah, she's just gone.
Well, I know why she's gone, but it's just interesting they made a model for her and she didn't show up here. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, interesting. But yeah, we got Lloyd with a mullet.
He does have a mullet. Apparently, I think they originally were going to include Sergey,
Oh, really?
but according to Wikipedia, like they did not include him because his voice actor died a month before release.
Jesus. So how did they get rid of him? Like how did they work that out?
Or maybe he was just not going to be like he may have been like
Like a cameo?
a cameo, but then they're just like
Yeah, yikes.
So that's a bummer. But they also they make mention of him at times, and like
Mhm.
I think at one point he indirectly helps out. But yeah, like a lot of like the kind of more side characters that you see, in Trails in the Sky and the Crossbell games are like referenced, or like maybe a few of them will show up, but like for the most part, it's mostly like the main characters you will see.
Yeah. I mean, there are some big ones from Sky that show up that I was like, "Oh my god." But we'll get to that later.
Mhm.
It was amazing. It was so cool. I still can't get over the fact that Lloyd has a mullet.
He has a mullet. It's very bad.
He has a bad mullet. I was like, "Oh my god." Like if they just didn't have that bottom piece there, it'd be a fine haircut. But no, he has a mullet.
There are multiple characters in this game that have a mullet.
It is true.
It's real bad.
Yeah. Mullets are not good, guys. Anyway, let's start the game.
Well, so we begin this game with kind of not what you'd expect coming off of the heels of the end of Trails of Cold Steel 3.
Right, which is a
Um,
big cliffhanger.
A big cliffhanger. We instead begin with this coalition of the Trails in the Sky and Crossbelt teams working together to invade the Orcus Tower in Crossbell and get some information that's in there.
On what happened in Heimdall.
Yes, so like it's Estelle, Joshua, Lloyd, and everyone else kind of working together.
Which, holy crap, what a way to start this. You're
It's
like,
a wild way to start.
whoa! Yeah. It is also fantastic that they were able to get all the voice actors from Sky back.
Mhm.
Like, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. So you have JYB as Joshua and Stephanie Shea as Estelle,
Mhm.
which is I think that's something we talked about when we talked about 3, or like maybe even Trails in the Sky as well. Is like, would they be able, or would they recast those characters? Would they get them back, the original voice actors back, to reprise them or whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a cool thing that they were able to do. So, and something I was not expecting, honestly.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I was real stoked about it.
Like I didn't notice at first because like obviously I'm just not familiar with those characters in the way that you are. But then like I started listening to Josh, I was like, is that JYB?
It's JYB.
Did they get those characters? Did they get those voice actors back? And like I think I looked it up and I was like, oh wow, they did. That's cool.
I'm pretty sure as well there's another character from Sky that they got the same voice actress back. Let me double check that, but I'm not going to spoil who it is yet because she's not relevant yet.
Wow.
Well, she's
God.
not relevant yet. She's eventually relevant. Quite relevant, actually. Robbie Damon's awesome as Lloyd, by the way.
I'm trying to look up and see if he was Lloyd in 2. Yeah, he was. So they got him back as well. So I would assume eventually, if that seems like it would be a good enough sign that if they do localize those Crossbell games that they put out on PS4, that they would at least have some voice actors already ready to go.
Yeah.
For that game if they eventually decide to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, they did get somebody back that is important. Actually,
I'm important.
They got 2 other ones back that are quite important. Anyway, continue on.
I don't know where I was discussing that now.
We're in the prologue.
We're in the prologue. I love to be in the prologue.
So we're climbing the tower. We're getting this information. Oh no, we're intercepted.
I know. I hate whenever we're intercepted. So you get accosted by some bad people.
Yep.
Hate when I'm accosted by bad people. Major Claire shows up. She also is joined by a member of Ouroboros, Mariabelle?
Mariabelle.
And then also Black Alberic shows up.
Mm-hmm. Mariabelle is the baddie in Crossbell.
Yes. They're like, oh, what are you guys doing? Taking that information? Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
You can have it. It's fine.
You have to fight us instead?
Though.
You should go do that. Okay, cool. Thanks.
And then Claire just like loses it and starts crying about Milliam. And also like she's got a thing in her eye that like her eye lights up and shows like a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, whoa, that's odd.
Real weird. Anyways.
Moving on. We have this information
I guess that's a thing.
We do get the Protag fist bump though.
Yes, that was good. I was like, all right, I'm into this.
Yep. They're all running.
I like Protag fist bumps.
And at high speed, it's so funny watching them all run. Oh, man. High speed is the only way to play this game. Except for during fishing. Don't do it then. You'll fail every time.
That's why I was bad at fishing in the last game, because I tried to do it at high speed, and like that's not how you do that.
No, you cannot do it at high speed. You will fail.
That is not how you do that in the slightest. You will very much fail immediately because it'll be like, you're not fast enough to do this. What are you doing?
But yeah,
going zoomy right by you.
We've got these dudes who are like, hey, we're gonna help out in this situation. Let's work together. Fist bump. I do like that like they acknowledge that Estelle is the protagonist. I'm like, yeah,
very much so. Like it is like there's no doubt in anyone's mind that she is the protag there.
I love Estelle. I know that I've talked about her in the Sky games, but like Estelle is wonderful and continues to be wonderful here. Yeah, that's our prologue.
It's a wild prologue.
Now for story.
So now we get this weird bit of the story where like we go into a dream sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Where Yuna wakes up and is going to school with the main branch campus kids.
Yeah, and they're in the main branch campus, like they've got the red uniforms on.
And she's just like, what is going on? Everything's weird. I don't understand what's happening here.
And at one point she's like trying to remember. She's like, there's something important that we're missing here. I can't remember what it is.
Also, Ash is there.
Yeah.
And Musei.
Ash and Musei are both there.
Which is also weird. So it's like she gathers everyone around and then they go into Blank's room.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, hey, this is who we're supposed to remember. And then they wake up and they're like, it's like Yuna and Kurt are like waking up in like a strange room. They're like, what's happening?
What about
Altina's here too?
Okay, I would say Altina's there too.
And then, oh, hey, it's old Class 7 coming in like, hello, you finally woken up. We have a lot to fill you in on. It's been like a month since you passed out.
I think it was 2 weeks since they passed out.
2 weeks a month, same difference.
Well, it's 2 weeks and then they train for a month. Poor Reen.
It's got a lot to go through.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all like, they wake up and they're very confused. We kind of get a little bit of like, here's what happened after the cliffhanger of Trails of Cold Steel 3. Y'all passed out. We had to teleport everyone out of there. So now we're in the witch village.
Yeah. Musei revealed that she is all magical and has the feather of Grianos, and she's like, yo, it's been real, but I gotta go. Bye.
Peace. And everyone's like, excuse you? What do you mean?
So, Yeah. Was it at that point that Celine is taken, or is she later?
Celine's been gone by the time they wake up.
Okay, okay. I was just double checking. But yeah, they had to warp everybody out, and they get to hang out in the hidden witch village that nobody knew existed. Except for
But now they know existed.
Yep. It's pretty neat though. It's basically like a shire. Like it's little hobbit
Mhm.
holes and everything. I was like, heck yeah, I want to live here.
There's a little familiar called Loki.
There is he's a little cat bat.
He's like, cute.
He's so cute.
He's like, hello, Loki.
Yeah, I kept saying hi to Loki every time I could.
And Loki's probably like, what? Hello? What do you mean? I'm right here.
Is Loki my familiar?
Yes.
Neat.
He's a chaos child after all.
Oh god.
So yeah, you basically have to run around and you go talk to people, kind of get filled in on the situation, everything. Everyone's very bummed.
I would say you go and talk to Eustace and he just breaks your heart.
Oh God.
Oh my god, that one hurt.
So like you talk to Eustace and he's just like, yeah, Milliam's dead, right? Yeah, it sucks. Oh man, I don't know what to do. Oh God. Oh boy. Oh man.
He's got her hat.
She's got her hat, and he's like, do you want this, Altina? You should probably have this. And Altina's like, no, you should keep the dog. He's like, okay, I guess I'll keep it.
I think it would help you more
I'm
right
so
now.
sad. I'm very sad.
Like Eustace, that would hurt. Like all of them were pretty like downer, but like Eustace hit me hard. Like he didn't have any of his normal bite.
But yeah, you basically everyone is just like super sad. And then like you have like a meeting with everyone to like figure out what you're gonna do next. And everyone's just like, do we have any? What can we do? Like we don't know what's the next step. Like we're just all lost and everything. And you're just like, the f***'s wrong with you guys?
Yeah, Yuna's like, what
Knock this
are
off.
you doing?
Get your head out of your ass.
Him.
We gotta go get him. And they're like, oh, okay.
Like, oh man, sorry that you had to do that, Yuna, but like, you're right. You're right.
You're right. When you're right, you're right. They're like, okay, but also like you guys have been asleep for like weeks and you're out of fighting shape. We need to go get you trained. We have brought someone in to help train you. And then through the door walks in Randy Orlando. He's like, hello, students. I am now your instructor for your temporary instructor.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to go through your tutorial stuff here. I do like how the game sets you up where, like, when you first do this tutorial section, you're, like, level 30.
Yeah, you're like...
You're a little bit lower leveled, but then, like, once you go through this, you go through, like, a little keep area. That essentially becomes kind of your training area that's been in, like, the other games. For, like, a brief bit of the game. Like, the last half of the game, completely forget about that section. You don't have to go back there at all.
No.
But then, like, you have to fight Roselia, Grody Grandma, your vampire grandma friend.
Grody Grandma!
And then that's how you were able to get back into fighting shape. And then it's like a few days later is when, like, you get back ready to go and go back out into the world. And it's like, oh, now you're, like, level 50.
Yeah, they do, like, a time skip of them training and get to level 50, which was... that.
It's real good.
It's a good touch.
Yeah.
Like, they essentially just spent the time grinding.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But now they're all ready to go, and then they have to go through the forest. They have to go through these teleportation stones.
The eerie forest.
The spooky forest.
Well, it's called the eerie forest.
Spooky forest.
Spooky dokey.
Eerie.
There's little ghosts everywhere.
Eventually, you make it back into the big great forest.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to go out and about and figure out what's happening in the real world.
Yep. The answer is a lot.
There's a lot going on, yes. A lot of this is going around doing quests and everything, you know, finding out what's happening in this specific part of the land and everything, doing all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like in how 2 was, where you would just like go to a specific area, find out what's happening, do some quests, and then eventually you get like one of your folks back. There's less of that in this, of like going out and getting your folks back, because like you pretty much have everyone except for Muse and Ash at this point.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of just having a smaller class to begin with.
Yeah, like those are the characters you have to go get, but like everyone else kind of just like rolls in like groups essentially.
Yeah.
Like you get all of class 7, and I think at one point, but yeah, it's not. It's definitely there's less of just like reassembling the crew. It's more just like let's go get these 2 people, and then we're off to go get Reen.
But it is mentioned several times, like, we don't know where a lot of the people who either worked at the school
Mm-hmm.
or were old members of, like, original Thors. Like, we don't know where any of the branch campus students are. Like, we don't know where
Yeah,
anybody is.
it's like again essentially what 2 does, where like everything gets split off. Everyone's split out into various parts of the country and everything, and you got to go reconnect with them.
Yep.
Get them all back under your umbrellas. Like I guess that's the kind of that is the similar aspect of 2, but it's more just like the side characters rather than your main party members.
Right. Yeah. That's the shift.
Yeah. So you go around and you find folks. You go to Parm. You see the Vander Trading Hall has been like raided.
Yep.
The trainees there have been drafted into the war, which there's a huge just draft happening for the war.
Yep.
I think by this point as well, like we have seen that the heads of the war state, I guess you could say, Osborne, Rufus, and then they have like the head war master is Principal Van Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
They are declaring war on
Cedric
Calvard.
is there too.
Yeah, Cedric's there because he's a piece of trash.
Douche.
Piece of trash. Yeah, they basically are like, we are starting Operation Jormungand, and that is going to be our war against Calvard because they totally shot the Emperor. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yep.
Everyone's all real hyped about going to war because of the Great Twilight that's occurring, and it's like
Little black spooky smoke
the
stuff.
curse of Erebodea is causing people to basically get way into war in a way that they normally wouldn't. So people are all like freaked out about that, and then, but there's some people, of course, working behind the scenes, trying to prevent that. I think early on as well, we see some scenes of some people who are working behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. One of them being a certain member from Trails in the Sky, who is very shady. Not shady, but like is very much just like they very much hide who it is, except it's very obvious who it is.
It's very obvious who it is.
Very obvious.
They only show this character from like the neck down, but like the neck down of her is very, very, very clear who it is.
Yeah. But she's obviously like they keep mentioning at points to like, we don't know where Shara is.
Yeah.
Who is obviously the character we're referring to.
Yes.
We keep trying to find her, but she is not. We're not getting in touch with her. We don't know if anything's wrong. We don't think anything's wrong, but we don't know where she is.
Yeah.
So they're kind of concerned, but also just like very confused as well.
Which Shara is one of them that I was saying had the voice actors come back.
I think actually a lot of the voice actors came back.
Well, the other one I'll mention later, but Michelle Ruff did come back and she's Shara.
Yes.
So
Also, I think Christina V.
That was who I was going to say, but I was waiting until we actually talked about her.
But I think for the most part, the Trails in the Sky character, I don't know about another character.
Yeah.
Because they're not listed on the Trails in the Sky portion. But like the main Trails in the Sky characters, they brought back the original voice actors.
Which is awesome.
Which is very cool. But yeah, like there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like war's happening. So like everyone's getting drafted and there's like, anxiety about getting called up and everything. Some people are way into it. Some people are just like, I don't really, this is not cool. Not really feeling this. A lot of like the heads of like Thors and everything are being called back to their military positions and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's a lot of weird stuff there. Like the main campus kids are now at the branch campus.
Yep.
They've basically overtaken that. And then like Major Michael is heading up the main campus kids, along with some other instructors from the main campus as well. It's basically everything's just real messed up.
It's real bad.
Everything's bad. Everything's real bad. Eventually, you find your way out of Parm. You keep going through the countryside, and you find yourself at the ruins of Hamel.
Wow, nothing ever happened here.
Nothing ever happened here because you've heard some mysterious blonde-haired kid is roaming around these parts.
I forget who tells you that, but there's like
it's one of the branch
the
campus
kids.
kids. Yeah. We also have seen at this point as well, like there was a cutscene of Musei and her lady court name. She is with her new group of Principal Le Guin, Brigadier Wallace, Vita. They have a big airship, and they also have Ash, who basically decides to like, I'm gonna get the heck out of here.
The Pantagruel.
Yes.
I think it's Tatiana who actually says like, Tatiana goes missing.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's like, hey, it's bad that she's missing. We need to find her. And then you find her on the side of the road. She's like, yeah, things are bad and I'm scared. But like, I thought I saw him and I had to follow.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened. Tatiana.
So yeah, you basically go to Hamel. You find Ash, who's just like hanging around because he just doesn't know what to do. He's like Erebonia's most wanted.
Yeah, basically. He's like, of course I came back here.
He's like, I don't know what to do. Do I just like end it all, whatever?
Kurt Vander's like, no.
What are you doing? I'm gonna shake this out of you. So basically, Kurt and Yuna are just like, stop being a dummy and come with us, dummy.
We'll figure out the whole thing about you, like, shooting the Emperor.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Whatever. Zephyr shows up.
Yep.
They're like, hey. Actually, before this, this Jaeger dude Gilbert shows up.
Gilbert's from Sky, and he is voiced by Bryce Papenbrook.
Mm-hmm. He is a big goober who thinks he's really, really cool, but is definitely not. So
he's
you beat him up.
Been like that.
You beat him up, and then Zephyr shows up and is like, hey, what's up? You should join us, Ash. That'd be real cool. Ash is like, yeah, screw you.
Yeah, not like, my style.
And they're like, okay, how about you fight our cool mech? So you fight the mech, and then mech stuff happens. You have a mech fight.
Yeah, because they find Tatiana finds Ash's mech. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah, because that's what he used to get out of the Pantagruel.
Yeah.
He basically dumped it, and then just like he went into Hummel.
And she kind of like fixed it up. Says ready to go.
Yep.
But yeah, he's like, no, I have found my people. I do not need you. I'm not that much of a loser.
Like, nah, you are. So you fight the mech and everything, and then I think some folks come and help you and get you out of the situation. So you can go back to the Magic Cool Village.
And now we have Ash.
Now we have Ash. I clicked the same walkthrough page again.
Whoops.
I goofed. Or did I not? No, I clicked the right one. I clicked the right one. I did not goof.
Yay.
Look at me. I am a smart person. So yeah, basically kind of go through the same kind of song and dance again for the next portion of the game where you're going to like a different area this time, but it's a lot of, getting info, doing quests, seeing people, finding branch campus folks, which is weird because like you find the branch campus kids and they're just wearing their uniform.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh man, we have to be very sneaky because like there's people looking for us. It's like, you're wearing your uniform. Of course they're going to easily find you. What are you doing? It's like, yeesh, what are you guys, come on. Stop being ridiculous. You go to one little place and you find a shrine, but I don't remember. You go into, I guess you do go in the shrine and fight some stuff there.
The shrines are showing up again, which is what happened in 2.
Yeah. You go to Raquel, because Ash is like, I should probably go there. He donned a disguise that everyone just sees through immediately.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who knows him there is like, okay, cool, you're wearing a wig and glasses. Nice. Also, are you okay? Because, like, we heard you killed the Emperor. And he's like, 1, I didn't kill him. And 2, everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
And they're just like, okay, good to see you.
Shady dude from 3 shows up again and is, like, very much got the curse on him. Because, like, he, like, leaked to some folks about, oh yeah, the kids are probably here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Um, so like some folks. Is this where some folks basically come and like corner you in an alley? Or is that later?
I'm pretty sure that like the people do corner you, and then Hugo's like, "Hey, yeah, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Like, I wasn't sure if that happened this or it was like another time you come back
No, I
here.
think it was here because like they're super wanted, and they're like, "Oh, hey,
Mhm.
he's here. We could get some money."
Um, and you also run into some other folks, some other Thor's graduates who are also like, hey, oh, they're with us. Don't worry about them. And that also helps get these dudes off your back.
Yeah.
Because like he was like, oh yeah, these you should listen to him. We should pull out of here. Get out of here right now. um. So yeah, didn't get captured. Congratulations.
Hey.
So you pull out of Raquel, and then you head off to Ulster,
Mm-hmm.
do some stuff, go to a basin.
Big basin.
Not like a thing that holds water, like a tiny one, but like an actual basin.
Yeah, like the geographic basin.
Yes, exactly. You meet up with some fun folks there. Some fun folks that are Muse and her group
Her
in a secret
long
meeting.
hair.
And her long hair. And she's like, oh, guys, I cannot go with you. I'm very much doing this plan to oppose the Empire's plan of war. And we're going to go to war against them. And everyone's like, that sounds like a bad idea. You're
That's a
going to
real
get a
bad
lot of
idea.
people killed. And she's like, well, I don't have any other ideas. And Yuna's like, stop being dumb,
Yeah.
dummy.
Yeah, Muse's basically like, yeah, my plan is gonna kill probably millions of people, but like it's the only alternative we have. And Yuna's like, okay, you think you're so smart and you think that you are thinking like you have all these plans, but you're just a regular girl. Like you like sweets and you like talking about smutty literature and you have a crush on Reen. And everybody's like, wait, what? And she's like, it's you're normal. You're not as special as you think you are. And she's like, oh, okay. Let me just take off my hair extensions then.
Let me get rid of these hair extensions.
Which is hilarious. Like she just walks away and there's just like hair laying on the ground. Like I had originally thought that it was some kind of like witch magic that she changed her hair. But no, it's just extensions. Hilarious.
It's really good.
So we've convinced Muse to come along, but da da da.
Oh, by the way, our secret meeting wasn't that secret.
Yeah.
Because
Main campus is here.
the main campus is here. Also, Prince Cedric's here.
Ugh.
And Randy Orlando's cousin Shirley's here, who's now at the main campus.
Yeah.
She's a student, I guess.
Yeah, she's wearing the uniform. I was like, oh, okay.
And Cedric's like, hey, we should murder these right now. And
And-
Major Michael's like, I don't know about that. I think we should just capture them. And he's like, no, we should murder them right now.
Even like Ada and Franz are like,
This is a little bad.
that's a little extreme. You shouldn't do that.
Cedric's like, no, I want the blood. Cover me in blood. It's like, whoa, dude. Chill.
He is, he's lost it.
He has definitely lost it. Also, you whip their and then he pulls out his mech and then you whip the mech's mass. Mech's mass. The mech's mass. You beat up that mech, and then he's still like, "Oh, I can still fight him. I can still beat him." And then Major Michael's like, "No, we should probably go." Also, the rest of Muse's posse shows up.
Yeah, Muse's like, you know what? I have a backup plan to you murdering us all.
Here's my troops.
Here's the Pantagruel, and they're gonna drop a ton of troops and the mechs.
Mm-hmm.
What up now, Princey boy?
And Major Michael's like, "Oh, okay, we're going now."
Yeah.
Prince's like, "No, I will fight them all." And Major Michael's like, "No, we're going now."
Yeah.
We are
And
retreating respectfully.
everybody was like, oh, we should have known Muse wouldn't come here like with just the principal
Mm-hmm.
as her support.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, just got some cloaking, and Vita's like, oh hey, What up?
Hello, everyone.
I can cloak a whole ship. Ah.
Cool. So yeah, that happens, and you go back to the Magic Village again
With Muse.
with Musei. The gang's all back together now.
Gang's all here.
Well, with the gang being all here, it's time for... That's the end of Act 1, by the way.
Yep.
It's time for our in-between chapter where it's time to go get Reen.
Yeah.
While you've been doing all of the stuff where, you go around and do quests and everything, Rose has basically sent you on like a mission to be like, hey, go find where like the spirit veins are really acting up, put this little stake in the ground, and then we'll be able to like get a better reading of what's happening with them. And then once you do all that, they're like, yeah, so now that we have like everything in order, we can basically use those little pokey things you put in the ground and pinpoint where the Black Workshop is.
Yeah, they can find the anomaly and use that to locate where Reen is.
Mm-hmm. Which you've seen Reen in various cutscenes.
He's in bad shape.
This. He's in real bad shape. He's not looking so good. He's yelling a lot.
Ripped.
Celine's just like, oh god.
He's strapped to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Celine's telling him like, get it together, get it under control. Come on, dude.
But also, you cannot say his name.
Yeah, you cannot say his name.
His name has been erased.
Yes.
At one point, Georg shows up and is like, yo, Celine, you gotta get this dude in check. he's a little messed up.
A little bit messed up.
A little messed up. He's like, I know. Get out of here. And he's like, all right, bye.
You traitor.
See ya. Also, at one point, we've seen in the Black Workshop a certain Crow and Duvalie
Yep. And
hanging out.
at one point.
And McBurn's just like, yo, you. So Crow and Duvalie, I think, show up and are like, things are real messed up, ain't that right? And they're like, yeah. Then McBurn shows up like, anyone want to fight? You guys want to fight? I'm real horny to fight right now. And they're like, no, not really. He's like, all right, I guess I'm going later. See ya. Peace.
Yeah, Crow is like playing it coy, like, I'll see how this plays out. Who knows?
Might have some interest to finally pay back.
Yeah, and Duvalie's just like, I'll go with you, I guess.
I guess I'll go with you. I guess.
Not like I want to or anything.
It's not like I want to. So yeah, you have to go around and find some more material, or not find materials. You have to like wait for them to pinpoint where exactly it is. So you good to go into like the labyrinth and do some fighting there.
Yep.
I believe also at this point we have seen the other groups come together, and then you have like Ren and Kia are hanging out in the Magic Village.
Yeah.
Because just for funsies. They're like, hey, we should go with them. And Estelle and Lloyd are both like, okay, sure. Have fun, kids.
When you get back, I forget who asked it. It's Sarah. She's like, did you guys stop at like an orphanage on the way back?
Yes, hello. This is our new child, or former Ouroboros member and former Septarium. We have adopted them. We took them from the other games members.
Yep.
And they're just like, hello! Because you just need some folks to do some, like, tech work. Because that's basically what they do to show up.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we could help you guys pinpoint this location. We have laptops. Kia's like, I can do numbers in my head. I'm smart.
It's also just, like, phenomenal. Ren has, like, this great Kitty laptop.
Yeah.
And I think they said her hacker name is Kitty.
It's good.
But, she was joking at one point with Elisa. She's like, yeah, I'm kind of surprised people are able to, like, figure out anything that I've done. But, yeah, that's me. I'm Kitty. I'm the hacker. What up?
I like chaos. I was a part of Ouroboros for a time.
Yep.
Now I'm not. I hang out with Ren and Joshua. Or not Ren and Joshua.
Estelle
and Joshua. I don't hang out with myself.
Sister.
Yes. I've stolen their last name. I've taken it for my own. We are now a family.
Yep.
Come on, everybody, and see.
Oh my god.
So yeah, eventually you do all that, and then you find the Black Workshop, and you get to go teleport to the Black Workshop. And then you get to play as... And Celine does a magical girl transformation into a human.
Yeah, she has a human form.
which
What?
is everyone's like, she shows up eventually. Everyone's like, who are you? Who is this? So you go to the Black Workshop. You split off into some teams because that's how you have to get around. I don't remember who all's here. It's old and new class 7, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You split by the boys and the girls.
I think that's it.
Yeah, you do a
Okay.
gender split.
So it's like it's the boys, the girls, and then it's Reen and Celine
Yeah, A, B,
who are
and
off
C.
off fighting. So you fight through a bunch of the different places in the
Please,
Black
you mean
Workshop.
and Celine.
Sorry, and Celine. You fight through a bunch of places in the Black Workshop. You fight against some of these like homunculi who are basically kind of the same design as Altina and Milliam, but they're not like, they don't have the humanization parts of them.
Yeah, there's no emotions or personality there.
So you had to beat them up, and then you keep fighting deeper and deeper, and you run into a certain member of your group who was presumed dead in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
You find Angelica, but now she has a mask.
Ah!
She's like, oh, I'm not Angelica, I'm Roseweiss.
And I want to fight you.
And I want to fight you.
But also, I'm still pretty gay.
And I want all the ladies. She is basically herself, but just like, she doesn't remember she's Angelica.
Yeah.
Georg shows up. He's like, hey, I gotta fight you guys. What's up? And then at some point as well along the way, and Celine run into Crow and Duvally, who are like, hey, we're gonna help you guys out.
It's like,
We're gonna get you out of here.
He's in bad shape. You need help, don't you? All right.
Because I think you have to.
got
Do you have to fight them at one point?
I don't think so.
Or they just run into them at some point, and then Crow's like, hey, here's that 50-piece mirror that I owe you, Reen. Snap out of it. And Reen kind of like, it shakes him a little bit out of it, but it's not enough to shake him out of it, but he's still kind of messed up. But he's like, he kind of realizes like, oh, this is something. So you have them two join up your team, and then you have to go fight the rest of.
Oh.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, poor Sean Chiplock, because
Oh God, yeah.
this part, oh, like Reen can basically say a few things, and most of it's just like die.
He's like, die, kill. I will murder everyone who's done anything bad to me. He sounds very much like a metalcore vocalist. Like, even doing that hurt my throat.
Yeah, like,
and he has to do a lot of lines like that.
Yeah, I mean, it had to have been killer on him, because it's not at all how Reen normally sounds.
I hope he got paid a lot of money to do that.
I doubt that he did, but I hope that he did, because he did a great job. Because I was like, whoa, Reen, buddy.
Because I remember like texting you and be like, that, oh God, his voice.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Man.
Like, the first time that I broke a box and he yelled die, I was like, okay, one, it's just a box, buddy. Calm down.
Oh, he's very excited.
And two, I was like, whoa, that is different.
Yeah, that voice is rough. But yeah, you have Crow and Duvally roll up with you, and then you have to go fight the rest of the Stall Ritter, Ines and Ania, and then also McBurn shows up because he's like, you guys fighting? Oh, we're fighting? Cool. I want to fight you guys. I've always wanted to fight Crow and Duvally. That seems real cool. Reen, I like you. I want to fight you. Cat Lady, I don't know who you are, but I'll fight you as well. Let's fight. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Eventually, you fight all three of those groups, and then eventually Reen is let through. The rest of new Class 7's let through.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually you kind of converge in like the center area that you've seen in cutscenes where Valimar and the Sword are being locked up. And new Class 7 is like, oh, it's Reen. We should fight him. Because Reen's just like, oh, I'm so very angry. And they're like, you should probably know who we are. We got to knock some sense into this dummy.
Let's literally knock some sense into him with a
literally.
fist.
And that's what they do. They beat him up. And then eventually you get this scene where like all of your allies are yelling at you through the spirit veins.
And I was questioning whether or not he was naked at first, because he's
I
just
also
like
did.
he's just shirtless, and then eventually they zoom out and show he's got pants on. I was like, is Reen naked?
Why did he have his shirt off?
Like, he just, I know it's supposed to be like a vulnerability thing, but I was like,
Sure.
okay, I guess. Like, I legit thought he was naked.
I did too. But then eventually everyone's like, Reen, snap out of it. Reen, snap out of it. You're dumb. And then like he
Including
gets like,
people who are not physically there.
yes, you see some people who have been captured as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then like this big crystal like reforms, and then like he's able to kind of like break free of the curse and everything, kind of get back to normal a little bit. And he's like, oh, hello everyone. I'm kind of back to normal, I guess. Hello.
Hi.
And then things get real bad because like the rest of the Black Workshop and the whole team that they have show up. Osborn shows up. It's a whole bunch of people show up.
Yeah,
and you have to, like,
Osborn, Leanne shows up. The Black Albrick shows up.
yeah, everyone you just fought shows back up. You got to fight through all of them again. But you get some fancy allies to show up and kind of get you out of there. You're also able to break Valimar out in the sword, get them out of there. So you're able to get Reen back.
The gang's back together.
The gang's all here.
Yep.
And that leads us into Act 2.
Duh.
So now Reen takes over as
that
protag.
Reen has white hair now.
Yes, the curse has made his hair white.
He's got like red eyes. He
Yeah.
doesn't have like the creepy demon eyes now, but his eyes are a different color because his eyes were like a purplish color. He kind of looks like an albino.
It's true. You get some new duds.
You do. You get black outfit.
Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you look so good in black." You are able to get Valimar back and everything, but he can't talk.
Yes.
He is talkless. That's the word I'm looking for. And then you got the sword back, so you kind of have Million back, but not really.
Yeah.
But also they were able
nonverbal.
During that segment where like everyone talks to you, Valimar and Milliam show up and are like, "Hey, snap out of it, dummy."
They're part of the pep talk.
Yes. So you go and do some stuff. Also, you learn a little bit about like what's about to transpire throughout the rest of the game, where all of the Divine Knight Awakeners have to fight each other in the rivalries, and then that basically it comes down to like 1v1 fights, and then whoever has the most, you absorb the power of the person you defeat, and then you keep going until there's a winner essentially.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning Crow and Duvally have not joined. They told him to meet like where they fought before, and that they would talk more about the rivalries. And Reen's like, "Well,
Yes.
guess we got to do that now."
But they have basically broken off from
Yeah.
the Black Workshop, Ouroboros, and then Osborn's group. So like they're free agents right now essentially, which is like obviously the Duvally turn is not surprising.
No, it's not.
Nor is the Crow turn, because
No.
we both kind of like called those things happening.
Which I mean,
At the end
one
of the
thing that
last
they
game.
mention is I think McBurn's like, "So you were Crow again, right? Like you remember all this stuff." He's like, "Yeah, I have all my memories back. It's fine. Like I hate this outfit. It looks really stupid, but I'm me again." Just funny. I also got I don't know if you got the scene. I assume you did. But I had the load-in file from 3, and I had dated Elisa. And at one point, Reen is like looking at himself in the mirror, washing his face, and like kind of freaked out. And she just like comes up behind him and like hugs him. And
I also got that scene.
okay, you got.
I don't
that
think
one?
it matters if whoever you date.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I
'Cause
think
was
it's
wondering if
just
you-
a scene that happens. Yeah.
I was wondering if you would get Laura.
Nope. I got Elisa, which. But yeah, also you have a new ship, an airship, which is Gaius's from the church. They're like, hey, he's like, yeah, the church just gave me this airship. He's like,
Yeah,
I will use it to help you guys.
each of the girls would get their own ship.
Yeah.
Like Kevin has his that he uses in the 3rd.
But like he's just like, I got the ship now, so I guess we can ride around on this.
It's
Do
tiny
stuff.
though.
It is very tiny. So yeah, that's your new point of operations that you get to use while you're going through and doing stuff. But then you go off to Brioni Island, which is where the
Big statue is.
the big statue is. That's where you're going to have your first rivalry. You go and fight Crow and Duvally, and then you have to fight Ordine. And obviously you win because that's how this game goes. And then you're sucking up Ordine, and Crow's like, yeah, about when you lose the rivalry and you're an immortal, you just die. you disappear.
So bye.
And Crow's and everyone's like, no, don't go. And then, but also Falamar reverses the flow, and he makes them say.
He basically like makes Ordine and Crow into like his own familiar.
Yeah, like they're like his underlings now.
Yeah.
Like, you work for me now. We have a contract together. I'm like, okay, cool.
Crow's like, yeah, sure, I guess that's fine. I'm still on like a time limit. I'll still die eventually, but like, thanks.
Got a little bit more time with you guys.
I'll help you.
Reen passes out, and they go to like this little shack that's on the island, and he wakes back up, and Crow's like, yeah, I guess I'm joining you guys now.
Also, I've been passed out too.
I've also been passed out, and then Duvley's there as well, and everyone's like, you're
What
still
about
here,
you?
huh? And she's like, I mean, I guess I could join you guys, and we kind of have common interests, but I don't know. I mean, I guess.
But we're not friends.
We're not friends, no. Duvley's great.
I love Duvally so much.
She's really good.
I was real happy to have more Duvally in this.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you got some new allies of Crow and Duvally who
She's
show
got
up.
a sweet new outfit.
Crow also gets an outfit where he has fur on his jacket lining.
Uh-huh. And you get to really see his mullet.
He's got a mullet as well, because of course.
Yeah, but he like pulls his forward. It's kind of weird.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah, but Duvally's got like a mullet skirt, so I guess they both have mullets.
There you go.
You all right?
Yep.
I forgot you lose it every time I say mullet skirt.
It's something, all right.
It's what it is.
There's a train.
There's the train. It's late.
Sorry, it's bad scheduling. Once you get them, you kind of go off and do some more quest stuff. You get the computer thing that's like, hey, go do quests in this area.
Yeah.
So you get requests kind of like that, like in How 2 was essentially. So you go off to do a bunch of quests and stuff. You get to go off and see a bunch of places and everything, all that sort of stuff. And then eventually it kind of becomes Act 2's like, we got to go find people who have been kind of like captured or being held essentially that are allies of ours. Mm-hmm. So your first place you go is you go to Ordis, and you have to like break into the Duke Mansion and find the Empress and Tua.
Yes. So
those are your two people you're going to go try and retake. Standing in your way is a bunch of the soldiers and everything. Also, Major Claire and Rosweiss are there as well. So you have to fight them.
Toa's basically yelling the whole time. Like, she's basically like Angelica, but she doesn't remember she's Angelica. Be Angelica again!
Stop being dumb! And then Claire's just like, I would like to do war crimes still, so do not try and convince me otherwise.
Yep.
You beat them up. That fight's kind of annoying because Claire's so the bosses can do orders now.
Yeah.
That is a difference in this game.
Yes.
But you eventually beat them up. You break Angelica's mask, and she turns back into normal.
Also, Toa like hugs her, but also touches her boobs, and she's like, "Oh,
Angelica's like, oh, I love this.
I could get used to this."
Claire just is like, well, that sucked. I guess I lost.
You want to kill me now? Okay, never mind.
I guess I'll leave. And then the Empress is like, I'm gonna stay here. It probably would be a good idea if you guys just took me with you, because then like people would be like, where did the Empress go?
Yeah.
We gotta go find her. I guess I'll just stay here. Machias' dad will just keep me under wraps, and we'll just keep that as like a thing. It'll be fine. No worries.
Also, we get the reveal here that like this is where Crow unlocked Ordine.
Yes.
Yeah, in the tunnels underneath the city.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's a scene when you break from the Black Workshop, because you got like all the airships and everything.
Yeah, that scene.
There is a scene where Crow and Duvley are going to go off to the island and be like, "Hey, wait for us there." And Vita is there as well, and she's like, "Oh, it's a shame we can't get to hang out more, Crow. Be like fun, like just like the good old days." And Crow's like, "Yeah, we'll just have to I was like, take a raid check on that. We'll have to catch up some other time." And Duvley's like, you guys just stop flirting so we can get out of here? Like, come on.
Stop flirting over me, because, like, Ordine's holding her on his hand.
Yeah, he just, like, held out, was like, oh, I got you.
She's just like, please stop. So we're like, both of us were like, so Vita and Crow, huh?
Yeah, like
It
they
makes sense.
they've been together for like 5 years, and they say like she's like the one who kind of like took him to go become an awakener and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was a kind of like a shot out of the dark. It's like, oh, huh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And like that's not the first time that it's not the last time that it will be brought up.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are a couple throwaway lines every once in a while. I was like, huh, okay, all right. Like I said, it makes sense. Like they were together for a long time while he was trying to get this whole thing together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as you swing that way, why not?
Also, I like how you can go down to like talk to the mechs. And
Yeah.
you can talk to Ordine, and Ordine's just like, yeah, Crow's my dude. I
Yeah.
like that guy.
Yeah.
Sorry he gave you some trouble. He's cool though.
Yeah.
And Rein's like, yeah, he is cool.
He's my friend.
Once you unlock Rein, you also unlock being able to like do the bond sections with your various pals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They added in a thing where like you can do like there's like more romantic ones
Hearts
that you can get with various characters, which
some of them are problematic.
yeah, and also I think they kind of went a little overboard in like with the whole like harem route.
Yeah.
And because like obviously if you wanted to, you could switch between romantic interests from game to game to game to game, but like if you've been playing this series all the way through and you've had like one
You get attached.
specific person you've been like going for the whole time, like it should kind of just like acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And not just be like all the girls like, oh my god. It should just be like, excuse me, I have one interest and that is it. You will respect that, please, thank you. Or it should, I mean, they do the thing from like 1 and 2 and like that carries over, that sort of thing. I feel like they didn't do that for 3, so like it's kind of a reset. But like they should have done something in 3 that was just like, hey, did you play 1 and 2? Answer like 2 questions for us, so we know like.
Did you date anybody and who did you date?
Exactly. That way we can kind of lock you in. You can get like a little bond like boost immediately with that character if you want.
Yeah.
And also it would just make this part just real, not super weird all the time.
Yeah, because I definitely ended 3 like dating somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was in a relationship. That said, I got broken up with on my first love moment.
This is like all these girls like, oh, I want to be with you. I'm like, no, whoa, slow down, whoa, cool it. Like there's so obviously you get to hang out with a bunch of people. There's like specific ones you can do for like character notes and everything. But there's one in particular I want to talk about.
Okay.
And it was the one you were like, you were going to like this, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am very interested to see where this goes. And of course, it is the first Laura hangout moment. Mm-hmm. So you go off to the little island where you had the rivalry with Crow. And you're like, yeah, let's go train and everything. There's like a rainstorm that happens. You hide out under a cave and everything. And you're just hanging out there. And, you're just chit-chatting and everything. And Laura's just like, you've been kind of off since you came back and everything. Like, is everything okay? And Rain's like, yeah, it's whatever. And Laura's just like, nah, don't me. I know what you're trying to do. You're looking for a place to die. And Rain's just like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. And I was just like, dude, what the what the
Yeah.
Holy
because he's afraid of being the sacrifice and what he's going to do.
He doesn't want to like hurt anyone else and do all that sort of stuff like what he did at the end of 3 where he inadvertently caused the Great Twilight and everything. And like it's wild that this is like hidden in this very like this specific moment because like it's not really brought up at least in terms of like this specific anywhere else.
Yeah, it's not put in those terms.
Which is like wild to think about, but like to me, like this whole scene, like I like for other people, I think it might come out like very like out of the blue in terms of like the way these characters are. But like to me, this scene made the completely the most sense out of like any of them. Because obviously like Laura's been the one that I've like pursued throughout these games and everything. So like I have this idea of like how her and Reen's relationship is, which like to me they've kind of like they've built up the trust with each other throughout these 4 games. they are very much of the idea that like they are not going to each other. Like they can be straightforward with each other. They can see through each other's and like you can easily track that back to like the very first game where like early on in Trails of Cold Steel 1, Laura notices that like Reen keeps like holding back and everything, and like immediately like once she figures that out, calls him out on it. And then Reen's like, oh no, but then eventually he's like, yeah, you know, you're right. And like that's essentially the same thing that happens here. So like none of this was surprising to me. Like that's the way these characters would interact with each other. And like I felt like that was like it was pleasing in a way for someone who's like seen like or had this idea of like how their journey has gone to this point and everything, but also of like this is how the story should go. Like this is how these characters should be with each other. Like it makes the most sense. I was very pleased with that.
Yeah, it was good. I did not romantically pursue her, and I mean, like I did for trophies, but I didn't in any of the games.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Seriously. So like it kind of had the whole thing that you did on the rest of them that I was like, whoa, back up, lady.
Also because like she just confidants him and then like smooches him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah!
She really does. And basically says like, you don't have to answer now, but like, yo. But yeah, that scene I think was really important.
That scene's so good. Like, honestly, like I think that's one of my favorite scenes in this entire game because it's like it feels the most. It just feels like that's the way those characters are. Like that's the way those characters would be with each other in like this kind of moment where like you know you're going off to like this end of the world potential situation. Like that's the kind of conversation those two characters would have with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know like obviously like I was very much excited just to see like those scenes regardless, but then you're also like you'll like this scene I think obviously for other reasons, but like
oh no, it was partially that too.
okay, but like once it got to that, I was just like, dude, holy, I was not expecting this in the slightest. Like whoa. But yeah, that scene ruled.
Actually, really, while it was kind of odd that like I got broken up with on the first like love scene, I do think that it's important character building, because Elisa's basically just realized like her mom is helping out with the Black Workshop. Sharon's gone and working with Ouroboros again. Her dad is the head of the Black Workshop. That's like her entire family, and they're gone and apparently don't give a crap about her.
Yeah.
And so she's terrified right now of any kind of like personal relationships because she's like, everybody leaves me.
Yeah.
And like that's important for that character, but it's also like a significant element to her arc in general that she's just like, oh, like everything that I've known is just destroyed right now.
Totally.
And so she's afraid that like that same thing's gonna happen. And Reen's also not making it better because he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm the sacrifice, I don't know what's gonna happen.
LOL.
So you know, she's like, everybody leaves me, everybody I care about leaves me, this is like, I can't have these relationships. And he's like, about that. So like it makes sense that she would just say like, okay, we got to pause this, we got to figure something out. Like that makes sense to me that would happen, even if like you weren't actually pursuing Elisa at all. I think it makes sense that she would be distant from everybody.
Yeah, I think I got that scene as well. Like it was obviously a little bit different,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm pretty sure I saw that where she's just like, oh god, everything's kind of bad right now, this sucks.
Yeah, it's rough for her. Like I felt bad for her genuinely. Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like her, but like that was intense. And like it sucks when you have people that like are supposed to care about you that just like abandon you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, actually legitimately turn out to be evil.
Yes.
I know how that goes. But yeah, there are also some very, very problematic choices for Reen's harem here.
Yeah.
Like I was already not okay with them allowing you to pursue Sarah.
Mhm.
I was not okay with that because it was like, that power dynamic's still weird. Um, Now you have Yuna, Altina, and Muse as choices, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Absolutely not. Don't date your teacher. Don't date your students. No. Um, and Elise is a choice. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Like, there's very clearly been nothing between like on his end throughout these games. Like, there's been nothing there that would indicate he has those feelings. And like that's kind of been her entire character, unless she's with Patrick, in which case she actually has some character. Um, but it's kind of like, oh, I'm the little sister and I'm in love, and like, okay, cool. Like, what else? Um, but it's just
I'm
weird.
the princess's friend.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
yeah, it's just very weird, and it feels very uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not as put off by the Alphen route. I don't think that Reen would ever do that. I can't see him ever getting into that lifestyle. Like, just that's how I see him. Like, he already didn't really like the attention of being like the Awakener. Like, he did not like being the what
Like the face of the Northern Warfront.
yeah, and the Chevalier. What do they call
Ashen.
Ashen? Like, he did not like that. He didn't like that attention. He didn't like anybody like really acting like he's a huge deal. He didn't like it. So like, I can't imagine him marrying into the royal family
Yeah.
and having to accept that. But some people might like that. I don't know. But I do agree with you. They took the harem too far. They should have never had it so you could date the students.
Yeah, that's real. I saw that eventually. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm no,
Yeah, like at
no.
one point you told me that you were gonna go hang out with Altina, and then you realized it was a romance moment. And you're like, nope, never mind. And like, it sucks because like Altina's a great character, and
Mm-hmm.
like I would want to hang out with her if it didn't trigger a romance with her.
Totally.
It sucks. And like same with Yuna, I really wanted to hang out with Yuna for moments, but I didn't want to romance her.
Mm-hmm.
Muse can go away. I like Muse better as a character now, but I still think that is extremely problematic, and I think that her crush on him is just like obnoxious. But like, she basically sexually harasses him constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. So yes, I agree with you. They took that too far. I was also upset that like they gave you all these terrible choices, but they don't let you date Duvalie.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, like, you're gonna let me date my sister, but you're not gonna let me date Duvalie? Come on. Like, Duvalie obviously likes him too. Like, they mentioned
Yeah,
many, many
exactly. Like,
times.
that's a weird distinction to make.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I agree with you that some of that went too far.
Yeah.
I think it should have just stayed between like old class 7 minus Sarah, Toa. I still think Duvalie should have been a choice.
Yeah, just add Duvalie. Like, why not?
And then like that's it. I think that should have been the choices.
I agree.
But I didn't make the romance part of this
No, we did not.
because I would have done it better.
Well, anyways, Act 2 continues. Because we got other stuff to do. We got other people to go recapture.
Yes.
Again, you gotta go do stuff. By stuff, I mean you gotta go do quests and talk to people, play card games.
Figure out who you gotta get again.
Yep. Eventually, that leads you towards the Dreknor Fortress.
Dun dun dun. Oh man, one of my favorite scenes of the entire game happens here.
Who I don't remember who all they have. I think it's the princess.
They have the princess and why am I blanking on this?
I don't know.
Oh,
else do they?
Tita.
Yes, Tita. That's who they have. So yeah, you gotta go get them. You have to fight through the fortress and all of the soldiers because.
Oh! But hold on.
Calm down. Calm down.
Before that, so they're trying to figure out like, oh, how do we get into this fortress? And Agate's like, oh, I got you. I know how to do this. And he holds up a device, and everyone's like, what the heck is that? And then you see this whole scene with them like scanning boxes and like, oh, signs of life detected. We got to figure this out. And they open it up, and there's a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then like later on, they open up the boxes and like, whoa, I thought we were caught there for a second. Thanks, Celine, all that. That happened in Sky, and that's how they snuck into one of the fortresses in Sky. Was they did the exact same move, and the cat that hangs out in like Tita's workshop was the one that saved them. So it was a really, really good reference. It made me so happy that he's like, yeah, I got this little like mini version of that device that we used to get through that one. I was like, yes, I'm so hype.
Wow, running out of ideas already.
Well, you didn't have any of the like awkward pushing together because like at one point in Sky, Estelle and Joshua are like rubbing up against each other in this box, and he's just like, She's like, I'm sorry, it's really close in here. I don't know what to do. So you didn't have that happen, but I just thought it was a very nice nod. Anyway, now we're in the fortress.
So yeah, they do that. They're like, we're so super stealthy, and then the alarm immediately just goes off.
Yeah, like, oh no, and Fee's like, all right, I'm gonna handle this. You guys go ahead. Bye. Or I think Sarah can also be the choice, but I took Fee because she's great.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually you have to fight your way to fight General Craig and Neidhart, who are like, yeah, come fight us. Well, we have people you want, right? Just make your way to us. Fight through our folks.
You have to fight Alan at one point.
Yeah, who is very much just like, I love war. I got a war boner going.
He is corrupted.
I love the war.
I hate all you guys.
Y'all suck. So you fight your way through all of them, and then you get to the main dudes. General Craig's like, sees Elliot, he's like, my boy, I hope you are ready to fight me. Yes, do your best, my son. So you fight them, you beat them up, and they're like, okay, cool, good job, guys. You can have the other two. There, we weren't like holding them prisoner or anything. We're trying to make their accommodations nice, but also we're like a military fortress, so can't really do much. But like, hey, good job, Elliot, my boy, you did so well.
It's also really funny because Neidhart's like, oh, you guys, you got us, but barely. And Craig's like, no, they whooped our ass. And I was like, good. Look at him admitting that. That's cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my boy. And then Fiona shows up and is like, hey, I've been trying to get in touch with you guys forever, and neither of you are answering me. And everyone's like, why is she here? What's happening?
Like, is there something going on between her and Neidhart? It's like, yes.
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 That is a thing.
They're absolutely a thing.
So yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you guys can take these two. It's fine, cool.
But also, like, Craig is her dad, so like, yeah, she'd be worried about her dad, of course. Yeah. But yeah, she kind of like gets on Neidhart's case, so I think that's why they were like.
That's why they're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. But I stand by the fact that like General Craig is one of my favorite characters because he's so funny.
He's so extra.
He's so extra, but like he also admits he's like, we don't actually want to do this war. We don't want to be there. We're also going to probably get very much punished for giving them up, and they're going to put us on the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
And Elliot's like, oh.
That's bad.
Yeah. But God, General Craig's great.
So yeah, now you got the princess and you got Tita back. Yay. Also throughout this act, like, you have someone join your party who is locked in because they're like, yeah, we don't want you to go out of control again, Reen, so we gotta watch over you.
Yeah. It's usually one of the old Class 7 people. Or new Class 7 people.
One of the side quests you have in this part of the chapter or the act is you have to go find like these little dolls, and then eventually it leads you back to like the labyrinth and the witch village, and it turns out it's Mariabelle.
Maribel.
She's like, "Hey, I got all these dolls back. Thank you. I'm gonna fight you now." Oh. And they're like, "Why'd
Which
you do that?" And she's like, "I don't know. I just thought I'd fight you. All right, bye."
funsies.
Yeah, later.
Which that's kind of her thing. The dolls.
Mm-hmm. Grody Grandma shows him like, "Can't
Ugh.
believe her. She snuck in through a little loophole out."
Should we clarify why we've been calling her Grody Grandma?
Because she's a grody grandma.
She's a grody grandma. I think it's Yuna that she gropes.
There's like a scene very early on where they go into the hot springs in the Magic Village, and she's like, "Oh, let me grab all your boobs."
And Kurt Vander, being the good boy that he is like, I'm gonna
He's the
go.
only like guy there, and he's just like, "I should probably leave," and they're like, "No, it's fine." He's like, "I should probably."
He's like,
leave.
I'm just gonna leave.
Poor Kurt Vander.
Kurt Vander, he's a good boy.
He's a good dude.
There's another scene later with him and Ash that he's like, I'm just gonna go.
Ash is like, "No, we gotta stay here."
Yeah. I was like, you guys let Kurt Vander go if he wants to go, please. Don't make this boy uncomfortable. He's a good one.
The latter half of Act 2, we have to go find some more folks, which is Reen's sister and then Teotot.
Yep.
Which takes us back to Leaves, and we have to go to the branch campus where all the main campus folks are, and we got to fight through all of them.
Yep.
So it's a lot of just like fighting through a bunch of folks in the school and everything, fighting through main campus kids and everything, fighting some mechs here and there, and then eventually you get back to the Einel Keep. You have to go do level X because the weird jerk professor's there. He's like, "Yeah, I made this new level for you. You're probably all gonna die, but it's whatever. I also brought these two kids with me. They're gonna give you support because if not, you would die through this level because it's so hard and difficult."
And Yuna at one point is like, didn't we end at like level 4? And like, yes, the rest of the students from the main campus already got through the rest of them.
Now it's level X. And they're just like, "Oh, wow, real cool."
Wow.
Eventually you find your way back down to the bottom, and you have to fight Major Michael, the prince's friends, and then some other...
Aya and Fritz. Yeah.
And then some generic students as well.
Generic student with gun and sword.
You also have to fight through like some of like the other main campus teachers as well, who are just like, "Yeah, we don't really want to do this, but we kind of just have to. We're also like, because if we pile these mechs, we get the curse on us, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
So like, you should probably beat us, and so we don't have to do that."
It's Instructor Mary and Markov.
Yes.
Which they're dating.
They are. But yeah, they help you out there, and then you beat up the main campus folks. You get Sister and Tio back, and then Major Michael's like, "Yeah, I gotta go do something else. See you guys later."
We're gonna take the train.
We gotta take the train, and I have other business to attend to, so see you later.
Yep. Everyone's like, "Well, that's weird. All right, let's go."
I guess. All right, we got more people back. That's cool. Yay. And then you begin the final act, or final part of Act 2, I should say, where Yusei's like, "Hey, there's going to be a meeting on my ship. You guys should come."
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
And then Le Guin shows up and is like, "Hey, the meeting's happening at this time. You should come." And they're like, "Do we come or not? I guess we should." So you go to the Pantagruel, and then everyone's there.
Everyone's there.
So you have your group who showed up. Estelle and her group has shown up. Lloyd and his group have shown up. And then some very important dignitaries show up.
Yep. So we have what's his name? Rock something.
He is like the president of Calvard.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very important.
We got the prince of it starts with an R. It's the one that Lucy's working with.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I do not remember how to pronounce that or what the pronunciation of that is.
Same. Also, we have a pretty important person from Liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we have two very important people from Liberal.
Mm-hmm.
One being Princess Chloe, which is Christina V.
Yes.
Which anybody who played Sky knows that she is Chloe. She is one of your playable characters. Yay! And then We also have one Cassius Bright show up, and it was like, like I was screeching at my TV when he showed up. I was like, it's Cassius! I was so excited.
Him and his mustache show up.
Yeah, that mustache is not a good look. It's really not. Estelle's like, what are you doing here?
And also Reen's like, oh, I know who this is.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I should talk to him at some point.
Yes. Eventually, so basically, they all kind of come together like, hey, we're going to go, all the heads, like all these dignitaries are going to go have a meeting with Muse and her group.
You guys mingle together.
Everyone else can go mingle and have all these talks. Like, so I have like all these funky combinations of people just chit-chatting and everything, having a lot of fun conversations.
One of my favorites is the one with Fee and Estelle.
Mm-hmm.
Where Fee's basically like, so you and Joshua, you done the do yet?
Yeah.
And she just like, it was hilarious. Fee gives no fucks.
None.
She's like, yeah, I just want to know.
Let's just see what's up.
You get some odd combinations here that are really, really good.
Yes, it's really good.
It was very fun to do this part. And
Yes.
one thing that is interesting about this is that at one point Lloyd like goes to shake Reen's hand and is like, yeah, we're going to be working together. And Reen's like, I'm not good enough to shake your hand. I can't. And everybody's like, dude.
Dude, come on.
Dude. Really? Dude. And eventually he's just like, okay.
I guess I'll do it.
So that was an interesting moment that he's just like, I can't because you're better than me and I've started the apocalypse.
Also, we kind of fought at one point.
Yeah. I was on the wrong side of that.
My bad. And Lloyd's like, whatever.
He's like, yeah, but you guys also helped me with like Operation Birdcage and helped me out. So like, yeah, water under the bridge.
We're even Steven.
Like Lloyd is very cool about the whole thing.
Yes.
Amazingly. We get some funny talk about how Reen is clueless and Lloyd is also clueless, but maybe not as clueless, which we get more of that later.
Yes. But yeah, you get all these like fun little chit chats with folks. Eventually, the other folks show back up, and you get to go talk with them. So Reen gets to have his talk with Cassius and everything. Cassius like, hey, so I got this letter from the master. Told me to like give it to you, but maybe not now. But eventually we'll have another conversation about your training and everything and where you're going with that.
Reen's like, all right, I look forward to it.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to dinner.
Yay, dinner.
So they have dinner and everything. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, the dinner's gonna be great, but also we're having this big talk afterwards about what actually is going on.
Mil Mirage.
So they have dinner and then they're like, okay, so we're doing Operation Mil Mirage. This is our counterattack to Operation Jormungand. We are basically combining all of these forces together,
Cassius
and it
is the general.
It is being led by Cassius and everything. We would very much appreciate it if the Bracer Guild, the Special Support Section, and Class 7 would join us. And then all of them are like,
nah.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
We're good.
We don't want to contribute to a plan that's going to cause the deaths of millions of people. We will find a new plan if that's the case.
Yeah, and Estelle's like, Bracer Guild will help out by like getting people out of the way of the war, but like we're not contributing to the war. There's no way. Which Cassie's like, that's fine. Good job, daughter.
It's like, all right, cool. And then Campanella shows up and is like, whoa, look at all these people here. We didn't even get invited.
I hacked your computers.
Everyone's like, no.
So now,
yeah,
big fight.
A bunch of people show up because they were like, hey, we found where you're at. We're going to go mess you up.
Yeah.
So you have to split off into, I think, teams, and then...
Again, gender divide.
You fight a bunch of people.
A bunch. So the girls have to fight Gilbert again in his flying ship, and the guys have to fight the Red Constellation sniper guy. Once you get past them, then you go out onto the top of the Pantagruel.
And you split off again into even more teams.
Yeah.
To 4 teams, and then you have to fight a 4 series of bosses.
Yes.
So you have to fight Leonidas, Zeno, and Major Lecter.
Mm-hmm.
Kruger, which is Sharon, obviously.
Yeah.
And the rest of the Stall Ritter. Maria Bell, Campanella, and Shirley is another one. And then Cedric, Ruger, and Georg is another.
Which I was bringing this up with you. They say something interesting on the Campanella side because they're like, oh yeah, it's split by gender. And also they're talking to Campanella like, so you haven't aged in like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And also like,
why are you with them?
Why are you over here?
And the Campanella's is like, huh, that is interesting. Anyways.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on there?
I'm not gonna tell you anything.
No, he doesn't tell us anything. So yeah, you get in these fights and everything looks really bad. Prince summons Tessarossa.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, Ouroboros' ships and everything have shown up and are fighting with your allied ships.
Yeah.
They summon their ions as well, and they're
Yep.
coming to come mess you up along with Prince, and I think Zephyr Dude also summoned his mech and everything. There's a lot of bad stuff, like bad things are happening, and then another ship just pops up out of nowhere.
Well, before that, the prince is saying that like his goal is to destroy everyone in the ship and then blame it on Calvard so they can support
because
the war
he's
even
doing
further.
what Osborne wants.
Yes.
But yeah, then another ship just comes out of like nowhere. It's like pops out of invisible, and it's like, ah yes, hello my friends. I have come to bring you the third path to this conflict. And everyone's like, wait just a minute here. And then like it zooms into the ship. You see this person and Major Michael standing next to this person.
Mm-hmm.
And it zooms up. There's an eye patch on them.
You also see Mueller.
You see Mueller there. And then it's like some of the branch kids are working in that ship. Some main campus kids are working there. It's Olivier.
It's Olivier!
Back from the dead. Everyone's like, you were dead. He's like, nah.
He's like, so I wasn't I?
Oh, that's such a funny thing you say.
Vita and Blue Blanc at one point show up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, wild. I think Shara shows up and Estelle's like, yo, where you been?
Yes, this is when Shara shows up. I think Toval as well shows up because he was also one of the presumed dead members.
And they're like, yo,
like, hello, everyone.
You're really intact. He's like, yeah, everything's fine.
Everything's fine with me.
Everybody else kind of got it wrong.
Everyone else, though.
I'm fine. It was amazing.
So yeah, like just wild stuff's happening through that. Like the tide seems to have turned, but then the baddies show up via just giant screens that pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Osborne's just like, oh, you thought this was all cool and everything. Nice to see you back, Prince. That's real cool. Everything, whatever. Cedric, stop being dummy. I told you just invade the ship, not try and kill everyone. Yeah.
There's also a really interesting conversation with Alphen and Cedric because Alphen's like, oh my God, you're alive. You're alive. Like our brother's back. That's so exciting. Like Cedric, aren't you really, really happy about this? And Cedric's like, yes, that's the bad thing is that like, I am happy about this, and that's a weakness, and I can't be
emotions
happy.
are weakness.
Yeah, I was like, huh. Interesting. Yeah, Osborne's like, hate to crash this party, but like...
I'm crashing the party. Here's my friends.
We're all floating in the sky.
So, like, Black Albrecht shows up, Professor Dude, Elisa's mom, I think a few other folks, but then also they're like, hey, by the way, we've seen some people show up from that ship that blew up. What about Laura's dad? And then Laura's dad shows up on the enemy team with a mask.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh no, he's being controlled. And he's like,
no, I'm not. Just kidding. I'm good. I don't have an arm anymore, but like I'm pretty much fine. I'm just over here now. I get to wear this cool mask.
Yeah, his left arm got severed.
He went kaboom.
Did it go kaboom? I thought it got cut off.
I mean, either way.
Yeah. I mean, because the shrapnel's what hit Olivier.
Yes.
Got him in the eyeball.
Right in the old eyeball.
I love that he got like a sweet eye patch. Like it's a very
extra eye patch.
It really is. So this was great, and I was once again screeching. I screeched a lot in this entire section.
Yes.
Because I had it spoiled that he was gonna come back.
We both did. So like we were, I was like, I think probably both of us were coming up with like trying to figure out, okay, how does he come back?
Yeah.
I told you my theory of
Mm-hmm.
what I thought was happening, which basically kind of was right.
Yeah.
Call that. I was like, Shara's been basically kind of snooping around things. I bet she and Olivier are up to something. Like they are teamed up together, but like she can't come back to everyone else because if she does, that would reveal what Olivier is doing.
Yeah, it blows
And like
that
that's
guy up.
not what they want to do, but also like that's basically what happens.
Yeah, and I mean it's been mentioned people like Mint have been missing.
Also, Osborne at one point in like the interlude between Act 1 and 2 is like kept saying, he like says something like, "Oh, I've underestimated you guys, just like I keep underestimating the prince."
Mm-hmm.
He says it in a way that's like present tense, not past tense.
Yeah, he says present tense,
Which I was like,
which is interesting. It makes you wonder, like, did he know?
Yeah.
Because he didn't give any kind of indication that he knew, other than that.
So like a lot of this comes down to like, what is George doing? Because
Yeah.
Angelica, when she comes back, it's just like, yeah, he gave me the he shot me, but he didn't like shoot me in a vitals place. And then like before I passed out, he's like, yeah, you should put this mask on, and eventually maybe one day you'll wake up out of this nightmare.
Yeah, and even Black Albrecht's like, "Hey, you didn't hit anything vital," and he's like, "Oh, but I have a different plan for her. It's fine."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "All right, whatever."
And then we see like what happened on the ship and everything, where the explosion's like about to happen, and there's a message that pops in, it's like, hey, there's an explosion that's going to happen, you should probably be careful about that. Also, like, there's this portal that's going to happen, and if you can get to it, like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So George is having this big conflict of conscience essentially
Mm-hmm.
between his Georg self and his George self.
Yeah, which there's this really funny part about him talking about George where he's like, "Yeah, I went with Gnome, but I got the G off of it because I didn't like the initials GG." And it's like, oh my god.
Same.
Amazing. So yeah, a lot happened here.
A lot happens here. So you also now have a new airship, the Courageous 2, which is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to go run around in the big airship.
And it's got guns.
Also, like, all your friends are here. All like your original like main campus friends are here. The new kid main campus kids are here. The branch campus kids are here.
You got like Becky and Mint and Lind and
So many allies have shown up.
God, I was so happy to see Mint again.
Mint's good.
And Becky. God, I love Becky. Her crazy accent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Everyone's here.
Everyone's here.
Angelica got real horny to fly this airship.
Yeah, she did.
But yeah, they explain
Read the
like what
manual.
happened and everything. Major Michael's like, everyone, please read the manual. The ship is still very new. We do not know all the kinks in with it. Please read the manual. Because like they explain like they're like, how did you make this airship with no one knowing? They're like, yeah, we just did it like in a very hidden spot in Liberl and kind of just made it very stealthily.
Yeah, so it's
So no one knew.
It's a very specific spot in Liberal where the Faceless had like a Ouroboros workshop, and actually Estelle was taken hostage there, but it's like this several floor like giant facility, and it's also where they kept Matterpater, Ren's mech. But anyway, it was basically like a workshop for them. So it makes sense that they would take that over. It was also in a place that was easily concealed.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, we use that.
Easy way to hide it from your enemies when you can hide it from your allies.
Yeah.
So yeah, they basically do all that explanations and everything, and then you get to go explore the ship and then go off and do some quests and stuff. Eventually, you have to like go find, or you have to go to like the Moon Shrine, or one of the shrines, and then you have to fight some folks, which is basically, it's basically because Rose is like, hey, come do this thing. We gotta talk about some stuff.
I gotta give you context.
I gotta give you some context. So like, you have to fight Vita and Le Guin because they just show up, and I think Vita shows up and she's like, I brought a friend with me.
Is that okay? Yeah,
Wink,
it's
wink.
fine.
Rose is like, I guess, whatever.
Do what you want.
And it's Le Guin, and yeah, that's my friend. And then you have to fight Rose, who turns into a giant kitty cat.
With wings!
She's like,
Because she's
hello,
like,
this is my real form.
yeah, so like this is why Selena's a cat and Grianos was a bird, is because my true form is a cat bird.
Also, I was a familiar.
Yeah. And
Speaking of cats,
okay. Sorry. But yeah, she turns into a creepy cat bird thing and is like, yeah, I used to be a familiar and there was a Rose before me.
I'm
And
Rose too.
now I'm the Rose. And eventually Celine will become the new Rose.
Celine's like, wait, what? What do you mean?
But I'm Celine.
So you beat Rose, and then you have to like, you go watch this, go to this mirror thing. It's like, this is the truth. This is what's really happened. So you figure out like, you go and see like this scene where of Dreikel's the dude who like, you know, the War of the Lions and all that sort of stuff. The guy who they basically kind of pattern, or like they want everyone from Thor's to be like, and he's like has this weird curse thing that keeps trying eats away at him and everything. Leanne shows up and is like, hey, what was that? And he's like, it's nothing, don't worry about it.
No big. I thought we were gonna get old together, but I'm the only one that's old. You're just as beautiful as ever.
Oh,
I got jokes.
You then find out that Dreikel's was reincarnated as Osborn.
Yep. And Leanne's like, oh, you know, I was glad he was happy and he had a wife and he had a son. And I was just like, oh, everything's going to be fine. The darkness isn't going to get him. And then they got him.
And then the whole thing with Osborn's family getting murdered and everything. He's like, I need someone to save my son. And then the darkness is like, ho, 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 ho. I got you.
Basically the gif that you like to do with the hands rubbing together.
Birdman gif.
That's what it did. And
so he's like, the curse is like, yeah, I've been waiting for you to say that. I can totally do this for you. He's like, I know what you are. I know what you're going to do, but I don't care at this point. Save my son.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got you. So like the curse thing is the Ebon Knight. It is basically another of the divine knights, but like one of the most powerful, but also it's a very cursed, and it's the thing that's like brought on like all of the bad stuff that's happened, essentially.
Yes.
And with it taking over Osborn and everything, that's like why he's become so corrupted and everything.
One thing that I was very proud of is that it is revealed that Reen has Osborn's heart. And I called that. I called it in the second one when we figured out that he was alive, and like it kept being referenced. Like Crow got the injury in the same place, and he's like, oh, you know, how did I live through it? Interesting. And then like Reen's got the scar there. It was like, he has Osborn's heart. That's what happened. Like he didn't get shot in the heart because he doesn't have a heart. He's fine. So I was pretty proud of myself that I called that.
Good job.
But the whole corruption thing, and that's why he's a baddie, I did not call that because I just thought he was a baddie. I mean, he is still a baddie, but it's not entirely him.
It's a complicated situation. A lot of shades of gray with villains in this game.
Yes, which is nice. I like that.
Yes. So after that, you have all that happen, and you're like, well, that was a lot. Anyways, let's go do some side quests and stuff. Eventually, you have to go. You basically are trying to go find another shrine to do another rivalry, essentially. But you find that like things have like changed and everything. There's like this ship that's causing a barrier over where the shrine's been transported to, essentially, and you have to go invade the ship to take down the shield doohickey thing. Here you have to fight Sharon again, Georg. They're like, yeah, we gotta fight you guys. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna do the thing. Black Albrecht's there and is like, they're gonna do the thing. Oh no, they got beat. You guys suck. Trash. Terrible. Also, Elisa's mom there and the professor dude.
Yeah.
And it takes them this long for them to be like, yo, this Black Albrecht guy sucks.
Yeah, Schmidt, the professor, is just like, dude, you were my #1 disciple, and now you suck and you fail.
You're trash. And then Elisa's mom's just like, oh, I guess, hey, Sharon, I guess, you know how we said our contract's void because my husband came back? Yeah, about that. I guess that, you know, I was mistaken.
That's not him.
That's not him. And Sharon's like, oh, cool, I get to be a maid again? Yay!
Yay!
Screw Ouroboros.
She's like, I would love to be Sharon if you guys would let me.
They're like, yay.
Yay!
And then Black Albert's like, oh, you all suck. I'm out of here. And then Georg's like, uh-oh. I'm in trouble. Let me pull out this gun and shoot myself.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And Angelica's like, not on my watch.
Not on my watch, kid. And then Georg's like, oh, okay. Well, I gotta
got a
go.
lot of things to make up
I got
for.
a lot of stuff to figure out. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later, maybe.
Goodbye.
But then also like you'll do like some bonding events afterwards, and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm calling you up. Hello, it's me, George."
Which, yeah, at one point he becomes George again, which is cool.
Yeah. Like I think at one point he calls up Altina and is like, "Hey, there's some information in the Black Workshop. Maybe like it's been abandoned and everything. If you want to go, guys, go check it out. I don't know if there's anything there. Like I think they wiped a lot of like the research and everything, but like if you want to see if there's anything there, go ahead, go find it." I think there's also an event with Crow. I think around this time, but yeah, you do that, and then you have to go to the new shrine where you fight all of Zephyr. You fight Rutger at the end, beat him up, and then you beat his mech up, and then he disappears. You try and do the same thing you do with Crow, where like you're like, oh, we're gonna reverse the flow, and he's like, no, I'm good. I died once already. I should already be dead. Like, it's time for me to go.
Well,
for
and
realsies.
It's basically like revealed that Black Albrecht like took advantage of the fact that they were mourning, and that he was not actually, he didn't want to be an Awakener. He didn't even want to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
And like the two guys from Zephyr, like we get some of their backstory on how they, like why they were so loyal to Rutger, and like why they cared so much, and that like they felt responsible for him coming back because like they agreed to the whole situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, I just want this to be over. So like, let me go. Please just let me go.
Fee gets real sad.
Yeah. I mean, that is her dad, and she calls him dad, and he's like, oh, I'm so glad I got to see my girl grow up and become a wonderful woman.
Oh, I gotta go now.
Which did you get the scene of Reen being a bad boy with Fee?
I don't know. Maybe not.
So there's a moment after this that they go to like a gravesite that they set up for him.
Oh, I didn't get this then.
Yeah. Oh shoot. I think I still have the screenshots on my phone, but it's outside of Hummel. They set up a gravesite for him because that's where the area was, the shrine. And they have a box of cigars that they're like, yeah, we're gonna offer it to him. That's a good idea. And so Reen's like, yeah, can I have one of those? And Fee's like, Reen, you smoke? He's like, no, this will be my first time, but I think I have an idea of how it works. Like, you cut the end off, right? And so he lights it and he like inhales and he starts coughing. She's like, yeah, you did it wrong. Like Rutger says that all the newbies do it like that. You don't inhale as much. You just kind of like let it sit. So Fee's just like basically making fun of him for not knowing how to smoke, right?
Good.
But he's just sitting there smoking a cigar, and like everybody shows up. I think like Sarah shows up, and like some of the other people who are Jaeger related. Like it's kind of a get together of people who cared about Rutger, and they're like, yeah, let's just like have some drinks and some cigars and celebrate his life. And I was like, this is a great scene.
I know I had like a character note missing for Fee, so I guess that was it.
It was so good. It was so funny. I mean, he was just like, yeah, you're inhaling too much. Boss always said that was a rookie mistake. I loved it though. It was fantastic. It was also really a powerful scene to see like everybody was like, yeah, Rutger was a good dude, and you know, he might have been a Jaeger and did some shady stuff, but like he really influenced a lot of lives. But also Reen just like straight up like, hey, can I have one of those? I want to smoke a cigar. It's like, oh my god. Being a bad boy. But yeah, he tried to look cool and failed miserably.
Good.
Anyway.
We go to Act 3, the latter half of Act 3. Got to do some more quests and stuff. There's a quest where you have to play as Wayne and Jessica and fight Laura and Duvali.
Yeah.
Which I like that Laura and Duvali are like pals because there's like, hey, you want to train together? Let's train together. And Duvali's like, I guess. And Laura's just like, we're gonna train together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, at one point, they just like rope Kurt Vander into training as well.
Yep.
I'm going to say the Reen Laura power couple are going to adopt Kurt Vander as their new child.
Kurt Vander has a dad.
No, we're his new parents. So you do a bunch of more quests and stuff, all that fun business. You have to go back to the Magic Village because it got invaded.
Yep.
By Gilbert.
Gilbert!
Who's like, I'm going to get the village and everything. And then you just beat him up.
Yep.
And do all this stuff. Like, he's got this tank. He's like, oh, this tank's going to do everything great for me. And then like all the witches come and just destroy it.
Yep.
Like, Rose is all mad. And then Campanella shows up. And they're like, oh, God, we got to fight this guy too. And Campanella's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. I am not here to fight for once. I am literally just here to pick up this guy and get out of here because he is a dummy and made a mistake and did not do what he was told. And I will punish him for it. I apologize for the mess. I will now leave. Let me get this idiot out of here. Goodbye.
Which, that's also a Sky thing that happened multiple times. But yeah, he's just like, sorry, guys. This guy just completely didn't listen to me. I'm going to electrocute him now while I'm hanging him upside down. Bye.
See you later. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, anyways.
Let's go hang out in the hot spring.
Let's go hang out in the hot spring. So after that, you gotta do some more quests, and then you gotta go to Crossbell.
Mm-hmm.
Do some stuff. You gotta go put on a performance.
Yeah, so that we can get into the tower and get to the top and disable
the next shrine. So you basically do like, oh, we're redoing Arc on Sale. We're coming back with a performance only for the military. Hoink, hoink, nudge, nudge. And it's like Elliot's doing all the music stuff.
So everybody's like, oh God, Elliot is so militant about music.
Like Estelle shows up and is like, they're like, hey, do you want to dance in this? And Estelle's like, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Shara is also going to dance. Mm-hmm. Crow is helping with the setup. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh God, I have to deal with Elliot being like this again.
And then the one Arc on Sale girl is there as well, basically leading it. Yeah. She leads everything, and then while you do that, you go off to the Orcus Tower and invade that, making your way up to the top, and then oh God, we've got to fight Laura's dad and McBurn. Laura's dad's like, I want to see how you have trained, daughter of mine. And McBurn's like, yeah, I just came along to see a fight. Like, that's cool. I like this guy. We fought once. Like, he's a pretty good fighter. I figured if I follow him, I'll get into a fight as well. So, like, I'm totally cool being here.
He's got, like, a fight, like, magnet monitor, like Leon's that we talk about with Ada. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what he's got. It's a fight one.
So that happens. You beat them up. And then
Laura, like, uses his move against him. And he's like, yeah. Oh.
He's like, okay, my mask broke. I'm good to come back. McBurn, it has been nice knowing you for a small bit. I will be going back to the other side. McBurn's like, that's a bummer. I thought we could fight some more here, but I got a good warm up in here. Got a good fight going. Feel like it's almost about time to really turn up the heat.
You see a flash of something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's not his whole power." And everybody's like, "How is that not even his whole power?"
And he's just like, "Yeah, maybe I'll show you off this power someday to you guys. Anyways, later, kids."
Put my sunglasses on.
I'm out of here. You go up to the top. Maribel's there. She's just like, "Hey, thought you guys might have a little bit more trouble." And she's like, "Nah, I'm here to take away all the stuff and get out of here. You guys, you got through the one fight. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Anyways, I'm gonna go take my equipment and I am out of here." Like, okay, cool.
Yep. You get to go talk to the Emperor at one point.
Yeah. So also we have learned at one point the Emperor is like not dead.
Yeah.
He is just recovering. Ash, if you have Ash, yeah, he has to get heart surgery. If you have Ash with you, he's like, sorry about shooting you. And the Emperor's like, nah, dude, it's cool. Like, the curse could take it. We were both influenced by the curse. Like, it was bound to happen at some point. Like, dude, it is. I do not blame you in the slightest.
I love how cool he is. He's like, yeah, you shot me, but like,
Like whatever.
It's kind of inevitable.
Yeah, like it's not that big of a deal. So like every time Ash is in your party, he'll just be like, I hope the Emperor's surgery goes okay. I hope it's fine. And then like, so like he you go to talk to him for like a final time before I think his surgery. He's like, hey, you should do the thing. Do the thing, kids. All right, I'm gonna go to sleep again.
Nap time.
Snooze time. Then you got to go to another shrine, and this time you have to fight the Stall Ritter.
Mm-hmm.
You fight. Oh god, this is the one. This has the bad fight.
Yeah, the one that you were real mad about.
It's a bad fight.
It is a bad fight. I agree with you.
So one of the Stall Ritter girls you have to fight, like
It's
basically,
the stout.
she has an ability that basically like.
It's a perfect shield that like physical attacks can't get through it, and magical attacks can't get through it.
And then along with that, she does like an HP recovery
HP
boost.
regen.
So like she just like it's oh god, it's terrible. That fight sucks because you just get like locked into a loop where like you have to like you can't damage her for a bit, and then she'll just keep getting HP back while while you can't do anything, and you'll just get stuck. Excuse me, in like a loop where you're just not doing enough damage to like circumvent it, and it's just over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Oh god, it sucks.
I love also that they're like, they fight one of them. And they're like, well, whoever's next, we'll get through them too. I'm like, guys, you know who's coming.
Who could it be?
There are two members of the Stall Ritter that would be here. You have two fights. I wonder who the other one could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny.
So yeah, eventually you get through them, and then you have to fight Leanne, who Duvalie has like been like, I am coming with you for this. I need to understand what she's been, what my lord is doing.
Her motives.
Yes, and then Leanne's just like, yeah, so like I kind of did this out of love, out of pride, and everything. Also, like I couldn't save Osborne from the bad things happening to him, so like that was bad. And then Ouroboros was like, hey, do you want to come hang out with us? And I was like, I mean, I guess, sure. It would give me the freedom to kind of just do whatever I want.
That I was going to win the rivalry so that I could destroy the darkness within him.
Yeah, so like she basically, that was her motivation for doing this. And
Duvalie's like, WTF, man? Like that's a
lot. Also, we're gonna beat you up now.
Yeah.
So you beat her up, and then you beat her mech up, and she's like, oh, okay, well, I guess you guys have to be the ones to carry on my will. And then Rufus shows up and is like, psych! Let me stab you. Let me take your power. Later.
Yeah. So they're gonna do the same thing, or they're talking about doing the same thing with Crow, and she's like, no, I've literally been on this earth way too long. Like, please just let me go. Take the power. You like carry it on. And then like you said, Rufus comes in, just stabs through the mech and like destroys everything, gets the wings. He's like, no one was taking these. You're just gonna sit here talking. So like I figured they were up for grabs. Everybody's like, what the nah? He's like, look at these pretty wings I've gotten.
But they're able to get like a small bit of power from her because our boy Valamar's back.
He can talk.
He's like, hello, everyone. I have returned.
Also, Milliam can manifest as a ghost now.
Like Milliam's like, hello, I'm a ghost. Everyone's like, oh my god, what is going on?
Thanks, Leanne.
Yay.
So that's pretty cool. I was excited to have Valamar back.
My boy Valamar. I did not realize that was DC Douglas doing Valamar's voice.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
With just like a bunch of effects on it, but yeah, that's him.
Oh my god. So oh wow.
Which he does he does such a good job with Rufus in this game.
He is amazing as Rufus.
Such a scumbag.
Oh man, he nails it. Like you want to take down Rufus so bad, and it's like 85% the voice acting. The delivery on it's just perfect.
Yep. It's very good. So after that, that's the end of Act 3. Well, the end of Act 3 is basically everyone kind of getting ready for war to break open, and then you see like the Osborn and his group on top of like one of the airships, and he's like, Operation Orbegon's about to begin, and it's like cuts to black.
Yeah.
And then we get an interlude in between this and the finale where you get to go to the Mishi theme park and then just hang out with everyone as like the last fun thing you get to do before war begins.
Before everybody's gonna die.
Before everyone's gonna die. So like this is a bunch of like fan servicey fun stuff. You get to go hang around with people. This is where you get to do like you have tickets to go do stuff with people thing.
Yeah.
And then just like hang out with people, see a bunch of people hang out with each other, do some weird stuff.
Get some really good moments with Shara and Olivier.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the drinking side quest.
The drinking contest was real good.
It's so good. So Sarah and Sharon are like, so we want to have like a ladies only drinking contest. So can you go find some ladies you think can hold their liquor? Reen's like, okay, I guess I will. So he gets like Le Guin and he gets Lucy.
Cecile, Rose, and Duvally show up because Duvally's like, I want to come.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
He's like, I don't know that you can. Oh, I got it. I can do it.
Edel and then Shara, who's already been drinking with Olivier.
Drinking. Yeah.
She's like, I'll come, whatever.
It's fantastic.
It's real good. But yeah, you get to see a bunch of characters interact with each other as well. We see Gaius and his lady friend.
Oh yeah, there's so many relationships revealed here. So Gaius and Lynn, the nurse that's Vivi's twin, they're an item. Which Reen's like, I wonder if there's something going on here. It's like, Reen, buddy.
Reen, please. You're dumb.
Please. You get to see Kurt's hanging out with his mom and Sully, the girl from Arkansas.
And everyone's just like, whoa, Kurt, you and that girl. And Kurt's like, I just had to hang out there because my mom was there, and I had to keep him company. It's not a thing. It's not a thing, guys. Please, you're embarrassing me.
We have Crow resisting the idea of Reen being his teacher.
Yes, which is very good.
It's very good. We have Tio and it's Jingo that's like stoked about Mishi, right?
Yes. They're like in the front row, just like on the edge of their seat, like, yes.
With all the kids.
Yes. There's the girl that's in the Machias.
Yeah, so she's the girl that lived in Heimdall in his home, like in his area of Heimdall. And I think there's a side quest with her at one point. But yeah, she's in Amakius, so I was like, whoa!
Amakius is oblivious.
I didn't see that one coming. He does offer to take her out for a drink.
But I don't think he's like in the know.
Oh, okay.
He's just being nice.
I thought he did.
I don't know. I thought he just like, we know each other. We can go have a drink together. Not in the way that she was wanting though. But also,
there's a mint scene.
There's a mint scene.
Actually, there's two mint scenes.
Yes.
Which mint scene do we want to talk about first?
So I think you find Mint at one point, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go hang out with the girls later, and do some stuff." And then later on, you find them in like the lobby of the mirror place, and she's like, "Oh, I just happened to run into Elliot. Wink, wink."
Yeah. And they're like, "Oh, it's supposed to be a girls' night, but okay."
It's Elliot. It's whatever.
Yeah. So Elliot and Mint are an item, which I was real stoked about because they were in the orchestra together. And so like that's a cute matchup there. I dig it. There's also a cute moment with him like helping his sister pick out like good luck charm for her boyfriend.
For Nightheart, yeah.
Yeah, that was cute. But the mint scene that I was going to talk about was the one with Instructor Mary and Markov.
Oh, yes.
And Schmidt, where she just walks in. She's like, "Oh, look, I accidentally called Instructor Mary's dad. Here you go, Mark. You should talk about the fact that you guys are dating." And they're like, "You guys are what now?"
Gotta go, bye.
Oh, God. I guess I gotta have this conversation now, don't I? And Mint's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a nice cup of tea while you have that conversation. How about that?" I was like, "Oh my God."
Oh, that's very good.
Toval's complaining about the fact that like he Michael, they're like, "Yeah, our ladies that we hang out with like way out drink us. Like, it's insane."
There's like,
Um, Lloyd is hanging out at his table on the beach
Mm-hmm.
with the girls.
Estelle, Joshua, and Ren are gonna go into like one of the attractions. They're just hanging out, and Ren's just like, I should leave them and let them be and have some alone time, but they won't let me leave.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, you have Cassius hanging out with Laura's dad
Mm-hmm.
in the restaurant, just at the bar,
Yep.
chilling.
Everyone's here.
It's so good. Like there's so many good interactions. There's also a moment where Reen is questioning the relationship between Le Guin and
Brigadier
her.
Wallace.
Yeah, he's like, "What are they?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know, Reen. I don't know what they are. I honestly can't peg anything about Le Guin down.
She is a mystery.
I would not even begin to guess about her relationships like that. Um, but we do get some nice confirmations there with Mint and Elliot and Gaius and Lynn. Which did you talk to Lynn at the day after on the ship?
I probably, but I don't remember like the specifics of what she talked about.
So she's having a conversation with Vivi in the medical area, and Lynn says something about like being tired or something. She's like, "Oh yeah, because you had a wild night, right? You were with your guy." And she's like, "Oh my god, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that." And Vivi's like,
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
"No, I think it was like that."
Also, I think Fee teases Elliot.
Yes. Yeah, Elliot gets teased the next day by Fee. Because there's a scene like at the beginning of this event that's like, hey, this would be a good time that if you've got a special lady, like you might want to hang out with her because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And like all the guys are having this conversation and they're basically just like looking at Reed like, so.
Who's it
And
gonna be?
even Lloyd's just like, I'm not even that oblivious.
Yeah, which is bad.
But yeah, they're all just like, dude, like, go get your lady. Figure out who it's gonna be.
But before you do that, you have to go talk to Cassius.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have the big talk with Cassius.
Yep.
Not like not that kind of big talk, but
he's
like,
gonna give you the birds of the beast talk now while
he's
Reed's
like,
in his
hey,
20s.
we gotta talk about what the master sent you now.
Mm-hmm. He's
And
like, you're ready now.
He leads you out to like the harbor area. He's like, all right, I'm gonna read you the scroll and everything. We are going to do your final test, just to see if you are ready to become a master.
So you gotta like fight your like ogre self, like your out of control ogre self, with all the craft moves that you know.
Which is an interesting way to do that fight.
It is.
You do that, and then eventually it unlocks like the ultimate S craft for
Breaking
Reed.
Dawn.
Yes, he reads a Twilight novel and he learns how to count to 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Who do we appreciate?
Yeah, so Reen becomes a divine blade,
Yes.
which holy crap.
Cassie's like, okay, cool, you did it. Now let me read this note. The master says, hey, congratulations, you're now a divine blade. Cool.
You can take students of your own now.
You can take a student of your own. Congratulations. Good job, my dude.
Everybody's like, what?
Everyone shows up and is like, dude, holy crap, what? We gotta come up with a name for you. And they're like,
Yeah.
all have like wild names for him. He's like, that's fine, guys.
Yeah.
Then after that, you get to see like a few more events here and there, like the dude that has been looking for Sharon and finally finds her.
Yeah. Anton, who's been trying to find a lady friend since Sky first chapter.
He found Sharon.
He's been in like every single one of the games, like trying to do this. And at one point in I think it's Cold Steel 2 that you set him up with Sharon. That he's like, I'm in love with her and I need to hang out with her. It might have been 1 actually. But he's like, I am in love with this girl. I need to talk to her. Like, please just like help me get her number. And you do, and she's like, you know, I really, there's a lot about me you don't know, and I don't think it's gonna work, but I think that that's really sweet. And you find out that they've been exchanging letters, and she's like still saying, hey, you really don't know who I am. Like, you don't know what's going on with me. And Anton's basically like, I know that there's stuff going on with you. Like, I know that there's some dark stuff involved with you, but like, I like you as you are. You're a sweet person. She's like, oh, well, let's hang out on this bench together then. So it was cute.
Yeah.
I hope that that's the end of Anton's like love adventures, because that would be a cute thing to have those two just like,
Yeah.
because he's like, yeah, I know that there's stuff going on. I accept that. I was like, oh, cool.
Cool.
Sorry, my voice cracked.
So you can go use your tickets on doing some stuff, or you can go make cocktails. You
make cocktails with Kurt Vander.
I made cocktails with Kurt Vander.
I did too.
You can have some sparkler fun. You can go on the Ferris wheel. You can go see the fortune teller, or you can go ride the horror coaster.
Which is bad. Don't ride the horror coaster.
I rode the horror coaster and got 3 stars.
Did you really?
Yeah, I put it on beginner.
Oh.
Also, I did not do it in fast mode, so I wonder if that helped.
Oh, that might have helped. I
it
should
might
have
help.
thought about that. Dang it. Why didn't I think about that?
But yeah, you do all that. Eventually, you might also get a phone call from Claire.
Yeah, if you bought the harmonica and crossbell that had the initials of her family member, and sent that to her, or if you were like me and forgot to send it, then it sends it at the end of the chapter. I was like, oh, thank God.
But yeah, you get a scene where she shows up and just like, we're gonna go fight tomorrow. I guess this is real something. Yeah.
In her new knight outfit.
Look at my cool knight outfit. And then Milliam's like, hi, Claire. Hello, I'm here.
She's like, Claire, you look hot. And Claire's like having a struggle with seeing Milliam again, and she's, having her, conflict of doing war crimes, but then chooses to continue doing war crimes.
Yep. And then you come back and it's like, well, now it's time to go see the lucky lady in your life.
Yep. Which I got to do a lot of them because I like save scummed it.
Yeah.
While I stuck with Elisa because I've been dating her like the whole time, I stand by that Toa's is the best.
Should have stuck with Toa.
I mean, Toa's so good.
Should have stuck with Toa.
I love Toa, and I dated her in every single one that I was able to. And I do have several save files, depending on which game it is, with Toa. But the one that I loaded in was Lisa. But Toa's is my favorite. Because like there's like this nice area, which I'm still trying to figure out the whole like Eustace Milliam thing. It's weird.
I think they're just best pals.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. There's this like nice overlook area by the beach that you go hang out with the lady friend that you choose. And so Reen just like hauls ass on fast mode to go see Toa, and he calls her Miss Herschel, and she's like, what is that about? Like, what's with the formalities? And he's just like, oh, I was raised to respect my elders. But then he like goes into his spiel of like confessing to her, but the whole time is like subtly putting in short jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic. Like at one point he's like talking about her shortcomings, and I forget all the ones that he says, but eventually she's like, yeah, I love you, not as a colleague, not just as a friend. Like, I want to be with you. Did they watch the fireworks? And it's nice. Then she turns over, she's like, and don't think I don't know what you were doing, because I caught all of those. And he's like, oh, tiny jabs for a tiny girl. And so she basically yells at him and is like, all right, well, you want to play it like that, then you got to come down here. I'm not going up there. I'm not doing the work. And so he leans down and smooches her, and he's like, this works perfect for us. I was like, oh, that's really good. I like that. Because legit, like, I would do the same thing if somebody made the short jokes with me like that. I really would. And I was just like, Toa, I love you. Good. Those two are really, really cute together. And I have very much appreciated their relationship, especially after Cold Steel 2, where he's lamenting what happened with Crow and like has that mental breakdown in her office, in the student council office, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna help you get through this."
Mm-hmm.
Like that was really powerful for me. So I love those two together. Um, Elisa's is also really cute, and she acknowledges like, "Hey, I really messed up," because she says something about like we need to talk, and he's like, "Oh, okay, are we not getting back together?" And she's like, "No, that's not what I'm saying. Actually, it's the opposite." And she's trying to explain like, I had this fear because everybody was leaving, but I understand that the two of us were in this together, and uh they do the whole confessing, and she asks if she can stay with him tonight, and he says that they can stay together until dawn. So, bow chicka bow wow.
Bow chicka bow wow.
Yeah. I got to see some other ones. Elisa's is terrible. At least there's not like a blatant love thing there, like on his end, but still weird. Um, I saw Sarah's, which again I feel uncomfortable with. I saw Laura's, Emma's, Fee's. Fee's is funny because Fee gets through the whole thing, and at the very end, she's like, "Oh, by the way, Reen, today's my 18th birthday." And he's like, "Oh, hey, happy birthday. If I'd known, I would have like thrown you a party." So she's like, "Reen, you idiot." And then he like leans down and kisses her. It was really good. She just like, "Oh my God, Reen." Which it's funny that, you know, that's very Reen to do. um, but yeah, there were some good ones. I didn't get to see all of the love scenes. I also got the great trophy that is playing with the boys, which is if you bond with all the guys.
It's real good.
I love that trophy name so much.
Real good.
So good. And there are some really good scenes with the guys. Like Kurt's is a good one. Like he's grown a lot since the last game. Also, I just love Kurt Vander.
Kurt Vander.
Making his cocktail, his lemonade.
Good boy.
He is a good boy. Which I guess you can talk more about Laura's. I saw it, but like it's that she's your gal.
Yes. Basically, it's kind of just like you show up and she's like, I wasn't actually sure you were going to show up. And he's like, I invited you. What do you mean? She kind of like talks about like how like, she's very confident as like a swordsman, but like when it comes to love, she's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh God. And Reach is like, nah, it's cool, dog. I'm going to smooch you now.
And she's like, oh, that is affection. That is romance.
Like, wait a minute. And he's like, you did this first.
Yeah.
What do you mean? And then she basically kind of has the same line that like the Elisa one does, where like, hey, you want to stay, hang out a little bit more? And like, I'll stay with you till dawn. And then there's also like a scene like when the next day when you go on the Courageous, like if you talk to her, she's like in the training room with Duvalier. She's like, I can't believe we have to like act all normal when everything happened and everything. And it was like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, if you talk to her dad,
I
don't know if you saw this or not, but he's like,
I didn't.
When you talk to him, like before you get the option to get the opportunity to play a children's card game with him, he's like, so I heard that there's something a little bit more with you and my daughter, huh? And Reen's like, you could say that. And he's like, cool.
No, I did not get that.
I thought that was good.
Oh man. But I was also just mad at the card game, so I avoided it as much as possible.
He is a hard one to play against.
I believe it. Even one-armed, he can wreck.
It's true. We gotta go to the finale now because we are 2.5 hours in. We're going to speed through everything.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot left to get through.
There isn't. So the finale is there's a big chunk of quests you can do before you go off and go into their giant rock fortress which is the big thing about Operation Jormungand because, hey, everyone's going to war now.
Yeah.
War's starting. Also, they have this big base that's in the sky, and everyone's like, "Yay, the
It's like
Rock!
it's like a big rock eyeball.
We love the Rock!" And Dwayne Johnson shows up and does the people's eyebrow. And he's like, "You smell what the Rock is cooking?
Oh my
Let me.
god.
I got some homophobic slurs to say.
Yikes.
Maybe not slurs, but innuendos to say.
Yeah, yeah. I do really like, and I'm gonna say this real quick. I do really like how they're showing like the numbers that each
Yeah,
side has and like
and
what they have.
and also it's a good opportunity for them to be like, here are your allies that we are not going to show you in this game, but we are representing as like, here's what they're doing right now.
Yeah, like it puts a lot of weight to this war and like
Mhm.
what you're trying to prevent from happening. It puts
Yeah.
a lot of weight to it, and especially because like you do get one scene where, like you see some soldiers who have died and they're being tended to like by their comrades, and you're like, oh god,
Things bad.
yeah, this is bad, this is all bad. But yeah, are you talking about the optional quest?
Yes, there's a bunch of optional quests you can do before the
Well,
war starts.
I meant the optional quest.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But there is a few things you can go do before things go bad. One of them is you go off and go to Hamel,
Yeah. Oh, that one is hard.
where you have to go fight through zombies that are representations of the people who died in the tragedy of Hamel, and you have to go with the Trails in the Sky crew, and you bring Ash along, and it's like Joshua and Ash have to like work out their things, especially Ash.
Yeah, I mean, like even like Joshua's parents come up at one point, and they're like, "Why didn't you protect your sister? Why didn't
that whole quest is real messed up in a way
it's
that like
so messed up.
you are not expecting going into that.
No, and I mean, honestly, knowing what we know, if Joshua didn't have Estelle as like his rock now, like if it were beginning of Trails in the Sky, like second chapter or even first chapter, Joshua that went through this, he wouldn't have made it through it. Period.
No.
He would not have. But he's like, I know that this isn't real. Like I know that I can get through this. We just have to defeat them. But like it's so messed up. And like at one point some of the zombies are like talking about like how it hurts and like that the fire is like super strong. Is like Jesus Christ.
And then like Ash's real parents show up. And, like talking
Call
about
him
like
by
this,
his real name.
his real name, talk about like this food he likes, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that is a thing."
He's
Either
like,
way,
bread pudding. I haven't had that in years.
you should probably call me by my actual name. It's Ash. I'm from Raquel.
Also,
Let's
my
fight.
mom made this dessert and
Yep.
it sucked, but it was my favorite.
And then Josh was like, "Wait a minute, I know that name. I remember now that's what you were called."
He does actually call him that on the Pantagruel.
Interesting. I know he calls him that like later on as well. Like he kind of like he goes to call him that, but then stops and
Ash.
catches himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to fight in front of the grave of the one person, or like in front of the sword of the one person that you probably know more about than I do.
Luve, yeah, the Blade Master. That was who Joshua considered his older brother. He was part of Ouroboros and was dating his older sister. Yeah, they have to fight because his sword is basically taking on like negative energy, and
You do that fight, and then everything gets back to normal, and they're like, "Oh man, that was real
it's
messed up."
so messed up. And one thing that's
boy.
funny is that Josh was like, "I actually know that bread pudding recipe." And Ash was like, "Okay, all right. I think maybe we should try and make that at some point." It's like
it's good to see like the Ash Joshua dynamic kind of like start. It starts off very like
tense.
not great, but like by the end of it, you can kind of see like they're like they're coming together as like we're from Hamel, we can coexist and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
good.
because Joshua at first has a lot of guilt because he's like, we did not know.
Yeah.
Like we saw your parents on the ground. We saw you covered in blood. We thought it was over. Like, I am so sorry. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm Ash.
Yeah.
But so like Josh, this was also a way for Joshua to kind of like get past that guilt, but also for Ash to like grow as well and come into his own as Ash.
Yeah.
It was great, but it was a hard, like it wasn't a hard mission in terms of difficulty. It was hard and like emotionally. I was like, oh my God.
It was one of those I was like, well, this is messed up in a way that I was not expecting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that, like a bunch of the other quests are like, go fight a monster, go do some collection stuff like that. Go do a harvest event in Ulster and have Olivier show up and be like, "Oh, everyone, hello! This is my hometown."
And they're like, "You shouldn't be doing this because people don't know you're alive." And he's like, they'll be quiet.
Yeah,
It's
whatever.
fine.
These people are cool.
You get to do one with the Crossbell kids too, don't you?
Yes, that's the one where you have to go find Ellie's mom.
Yes, the one where I don't know why I said it like that.
It's like the spooky like demons are kidnapping folks, and you have to
taking lady souls.
You have to go down into the geofront and fight them, and you get Ellie's mom back, and Ellie's like, hello, my mom, and Ellie's mom's like, hey, is this a dream? Oh my gosh, you're much older now.
Yeah, Diana, who is a shopkeeper at one of the towns where you go to earlier,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually look at her desk, and there's a picture of her and Ellie. I was like, oh, interesting.
Also, we learned that like Ellie and Le Guin are distant cousins.
Yes.
Which, whoa,
what
that's
family.
A dangerous family, yes.
Yes.
Eventually, you also have to go knock some sense into Alan because he's being a mega jerk.
Oh, yeah. And Bridget's like, I need help. Please help me.
So you're like, I gotta go find Patrick.
Yeah.
Which, during the interlude, Patrick is like,
the scene.
Hey, Reen, what if I go hang out with your sister? And Reen's like, I mean, I guess you can. Just don't do anything bad. Also, there's a scene as well on the Courageous 2 where they're both talking, and then Reen shows up and is like, hey, guys, what's going on? And Patrick's like, you're okay with this? And Reen's like, when have I never been okay with this? And it's like, Reen.
He's like, I've never interfered with you guys talking ever. And it's like,
Reen. What do you mean?
And then, like, even in that same scene, he's just like, but don't do anything weird. And they're like, Reen, literally, like, you.
But then, like, later on in the interlude, like, Patrick's just, like, talking about, like, oh, man, Reen gave me his blessing and everything. And then Reen shows up, like, yeah, a blessing. I don't know. Did they follow up on that at all?
No.
I'm going to go with you and say that they're canon now.
I mean, honestly, I would.
Reen is given the blessing.
Yeah, and like Patrick and Elise are really good together. And Patrick, he's had great character development, but it's very obvious that he cares about Elise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he puts himself in a lot of danger at points to protect her.
He does. He's a good boy.
He's a good boy, even though he has like Nick Carter Backstreet Boys hair. Like, he's a good one. And like him and Elise really, like, they're good together.
But yeah, you have to go find you find him, you bring him back, and Patrick's like, dude, why are you being dumb? You're acting like a commoner, like a bad commoner. Like, this isn't you. You're supposed to be determined and everything. And I was like, oh, but I'm angry. I want to do more stuff. And then you go beat him up in a mech, and then he's like, oh, I was real dumb.
Yeah.
I was real dumb. Also, Bridget slaps him, and then he's like, oh, what's happened? What am I doing?
A lot of your old classmates show up too and they're like, yeah, dude, like, we're all here because we care about you, and like, you suck right now.
Yeah.
Stop doing this.
And then he passes out, and they're like, yeah, he's gonna be passed out for a while.
Yeah.
He's not going to war anytime soon. Also, we're going to like retract his deployment to a different place, and be like, yeah, we're gonna get you out of there.
Yeah, Elliot was able to use his dad's connections to get his frontline assignment taken away, because he was supposed to work with Craig, and then he's like, I want to go to the front lines, not with Craig. Craig's like, nope, you're coming back with me.
Yep. You can go to the Stargazer's Tower.
Yeah, which is great.
Go fight through that.
Fight a big boss.
Fight a big boss. You go to the resort back, and then you go become the god of fishing.
Yeah, which gives us another confirmed relationship that I'm so happy about.
Kenneth and Annabelle. I like how Annabelle, during the interlude night, she's like, oh, I want to tell him about this, but I can't. Oh, God, I'm messing up. You want to go on a continental-wide fishing trip? And she's like, oh, no.
That's not what I meant to say.
And Reen's just like, oh, God. And then the next day, Kenneth's like, yeah, I like really care about you. That's why I want to go on this trip with you. Like, I realized that was what you were trying to say last night. And she's like, oh, yes.
Which, if you talk to Lake Lord, his dad, like, he shows up in a few towns. When you talk to him, he's like, yeah, I don't know why Kenneth is not like with this girl, because she rules. Like, come on. Like, I understand that like the older brother like isn't gonna marry her. We called that off. Like, come on, dude, before she gets away. And I was like, oh, that's a good one. I was just so happy that they were together. But yes, the god of fishing. We are on the level of fishing with Estelle.
It's true. Also, you can go fight a bunch of the optional bosses, and if you do that, you get to go fight a super optional boss that unlocks the true ending.
Mm-hmm.
The beast, the Earth Beast, the holy beast of the Earth,
which is the one who triggered the apocalypse.
Yes, whose name has been missing, but then you beat him up and his name comes back, and he's like, "Oh, hey, my name's back. Anyway, I'm gonna give you some power, and then hopefully you guys can right this wrong. See you guys later.
Gonna take a nap now. Bye.
Goodbye, friends." And then after that is basically, hey, it's time to go to the final parts of this game. So you have to go to these like salt pails that are in a bunch of different places. You split off into 4 different teams, and like all those teams go off and deal with that. So you have like the Trails of the Sky team, the Crossbell team, the
Team
Witch, yeah, kind of. You have like Angelica, George, and Duvalie and her squad, I think.
No, Duvalie's with the Zephyr guys.
Right, yes, the Zephyr guys. And then you have like the wild team that's like Le Guin, Vita, Rose, and then Toval's there as well.
No, it's I thought Victor Laura's dad was there.
Yes, you're right. Laura's dad's there. It's like Le Guin, Laura's dad, and then Vita's there as well, I think, and Toval.
I thought Vita was with Rose.
Well, hang on, I guess I
It's
can't.
like a stupidly overpowered team.
But regardless, it has the best lines in this part where Toval's like, they're all like, "Oh man, we gotta go fight this thing," and Toval's like, "Dude, we gotta get back up. Like that thing's gonna murder us." And they're like, "Nah, we can beat this thing up."
He's like, "You need mechs to fight these things.
We can beat this thing up." And Toval's like, "Ah!"
Which we can have a conversation before that. Like Toval's just like a regular guy who shows up and is just like in the middle of these weird things. And there's even a conversation in this dungeon where they're like, "You know, you really should be an A-rank bracer. I heard you turn it down." He's like, "Yeah, I don't deserve to be an A-rank bracer. I'm totally fine being B.
I just want to be a normal dude who just has friends that are extraordinary."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you fight them bosses, and then that takes down the barrier of the big rock thing, and that allows you to fly your ship in and teleport the crew in, and you get ready to do all your final boss stuff. So you have to go down one corridor that leads you to Claire and Lecter, who you have to fight. They're like, "Oh yeah, we have the power of this thing, and the fortress is gonna help us beat you guys really badly." And then they're like, "Nah, we're gonna beat you up."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh no, we can't believe we got beat up. We did war crimes. It's very sad."
Also, we miss Milliam. Yeah, they both try and commit suicide. Claire pulls her gun out.
Everyone was prepared for this. Like they immediately try and do that, and everyone's like, and Reed's like, "Go!" And it's like 4 people just swarm them, and they're like, "Nah, you're not doing this.
And then they pass
This ain't happening." So that happens. Then you have to go to your first rivalry, which is against Cedric, and Shirley's there. Cedric's like, "I'm a butthole," and Kurt Vander's like, "Hey, why don't you stop being a butthole? You're just being a dummy because you're like, I want power," and then you were like, "I'm scrawny, so I want to get all the power, so I'm going to be easily swayed into getting this power from this evil curse thing." Yeah. And then Cedric's like, "Oh, I guess I did do that. I kind of sucked, didn't I? I really messed up."
He kind of has like a weird breakdown at that point.
And Shirley's just like, "Yeah, you kind of sucked, but also we have to fight them because we have to do the thing." And then he's like, "Yeah, I guess we kind of have to do the thing." So you fight them.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you fight them, you beat him up, and then you beat him up in his mech and everything, and you win and you get his powers.
Yep. There's also a moment where she's like, "Yeah, originally I was hanging out with him because like my weapon has the same name as his mech, and like that was kind of cool. But then like something else happened. And it's kind of weird because like I'm usually really into girls, and
like, I feel like I just kind of have to protect him. I don't know." Everyone's just like, "Oh, okay, Shirley."
So there's a thing
convince
happening
yourself
there.
how you want.
Yep.
So you
and then she
them.
passes out on top of it.
Yes. Everyone's just like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Because they mention at one point how like he used all his power in the fight, and they're like Shirley was helping him.
They're like, "Oh, she would be able to keep going most likely," but she's like, "Yeah, I had to use power to help him in this fight. It really took a lot out of me."
And they're like, yeah, you've been holding back this whole time. She's like, yeah, so if this is like the point where you want to take me out completely, like, it'd be a good time.
And they're like, nah.
Nah. And like I said, she passes out on top of him, which is
Randy Orlando would be
hilarious.
mad at us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that happens. Then you have to go fight Campanella and Maribel.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like very weird and everything. Campanella's still avoiding questions, and then you have to, once you beat them, Maribel's like, I guess we'll give you at least some answers about what we're doing. Yeah, we have a plan going, and it's entering its final stages. That's kind of like not a part of this plan and everything. Ouroboros is still doing some stuff, regardless if our team chemistry and unity is in the gutter right now.
Yeah.
Campanella's just like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. Goodbye. Hey,
Nope.
we had this Ion with us as well that we didn't use because whatever.
They also drew on the door.
They did draw on the door. And everyone's just like, that was real weird. Campanella, a real weird person. Like, why wouldn't they use that Aeon to fight us? And Campanalla's like, I thought I could beat you myself.
Campanella is like one of the most fascinating characters to me at this
He's
point.
a weirdo.
He is. Like, there's something with that guy that I don't know what it is, though. Anyway, we fight him, we win.
You gotta go fight Rufus after this, and Black Albrecht's there.
Mm-hmm.
Black Albrecht's like, oh, we're going to do the thing. And Rufus is like, yeah, I don't care about your thing. I want to go beat up Osborn.
Yeah.
I'm going to win the rivalries.
He's like, I'm going to surpass my father.
Yes.
And I was like,
spoiler alert.
You called it.
You don't.
No, you don't.
I was surprised. I figured it would be a little bit more involved in that. Like, I figured he would wait until the very end and do his power grab, but like, I guess that wouldn't make sense because you'd still have to fight him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes down and you take his mech and he's like, I'm gonna get tried for war crimes, ain't I?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, yeah. Black Albrecht begins to transform not into Black Albrecht and becomes Franz again for like a hot second. But then he's like, no, I want to be evil. I gotta go.
He's just like, I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. But like,
And then Rufus is like, hey, would you guys go beat Osborn for me? And then Eustace rocks up and is like, yeah, we can do that. Also, I'm going to punch you in the face right now.
It was great. He punched him unconscious.
Knocks him out.
Mama's gonna knock you out.
Yes. In the meantime, you also get to go back to like this courtyard garden area where you can like chat with everyone. There's a very good scene where if you talk to Laura like near the end, where she's like hanging out like doing training, she's like, you do realize we gotta talk to my dad about what's happened, right? And then Reed is like, without a beat, he's like, yeah, cool, I'm totally fine with that. Like, if we do that, we get to hang out more and it's great. And Laura's like, oh, neato.
Yeah, I got a similar scene with Lisa that she was like, yeah, we got to tell my grandfather and mom and Sharon, our mother. And
all of them are just going to be like, yeah, we know. This is no big deal.
Yeah, like, awesome. Fantastic.
Like, there's a scene earlier where, like, the grandpa's on the ship and I think, like, talking with some folks and they're like, so what's going on with you and Elisa? What's going on with you and Elisa? And Reed's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Chill out.
I will say one thing that's really cute. We've neglected to mention it, but Ash and Tatiana have a thing. They were in the like reading club together, and that she was going after him for Hamel, and they've had some moments throughout. Like there's this one part where he gets completely roasted by like one of the branch campus dudes about this, but they are also at the theme park together. She'd asked him out on a date, but at one point he's sitting in the garden just reading a book, and Reen's like, oh, that's interesting that you would just bring a book along to this. And he's like, oh yeah, Tatiana brought it back or gave it to me and was like, hey, you have to make sure you bring this back to me. So I figured I would just read it. And
Reen's just like, oh, it's a good luck charm, isn't it? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He's like, you realize that she said that you have to bring it back, like that she wants you to come back. That's what's going on. And I'm like, Reen, the one time you actually get it, God.
Also, Ash and Crow are very good in this game, and they become like the friendship that you never knew you wanted but needed.
It's so good. Like those two together is one of the best things about this game. Is like Crow becomes like the Ash mentor, and they're just hilarious together. And they're also the only two characters in the entire game that say "Let's mosey."
It's very good.
It's so good. So many good scenes.
But yeah, now we are at the end of at the end game. We have to fight one McBurn next, who's like you show up. He's like, man, I've been waiting on you guys. I didn't think you were gonna show. I was about to go mess some stuff up if you guys
Thought
didn't
you were
show.
dead.
That would have been a real bummer. Anyways, we got to fight. I'm trying to let me tell you about my backstory here. I'm not from this world.
The cult has been dealing with figuring out like how to transcend this world, and was like, yeah, so if you like try and leave the continent, like you can't.
Some weird stuff that happens in this scene.
Yeah, and guys is like, I hate to admit this because I'm part of the church, but like, ugh.
Yeah, we kind of put a lockdown on people like trying to leave the continent.
Yeah.
It's wild. And then McBurn's like, so like there's a scene where like they flash back to like 2 where Reen and McBurn have this conversation on the Pantagruel, and
where he was calling Reen a mutt.
yeah, and he's like he has like Reen asking like, "Are what's up with you?" And like, is everything, there's something unnatural about you. And McBurn's like, "Yeah, everything's unnatural about me." And also like when McBurn first meets Reen, he's like, "You're mixed, aren't you?"
Yeah.
Because then Reen's like, "Yeah, I have Osborn's heart," and me and McBurn's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And
well,
then
I don't
McBurn's
think
like,
he says that, but
well, I mean, he basically is like, yeah, I figured as much. McBurn also is like, yeah, also like I got some real messed up stuff with it in me. I'm kind of like a demon. Let me transform into my demon side.
He turns into this like sweet looking demon guy.
Mm-hmm. And you fight him, and then you beat him, and he says like, "Oh, I got my memories back. I gotta go have a talk with Campanella, and a lot of people in Ouroboros because they got some answers that I need answering. Oh, by the way, here you want some cool power? You guys go. You guys are cool.
Yeah,
I got
cool
some respect
now.
for you."
Ash is like, what is going on?
Let me get my bragging rights on. Who said at the end of Trails of Cold Steel 3 that McBurn was gonna do a turn? This guy.
McBurn, I love that he just like, as soon as his flames come down, he's like, oh, huh, that's interesting.
I gotta go have some talks. You guys need you guys are gonna need this power when you have your fight coming up. Like that guy is gonna be a real rough, but also like you guys will probably be all right. He has like it's obviously not like a full on like they're allies now, but like this is very much a McBurn has a lot of respect for Reen and the crew.
Yes, and I think that's the big thing is that he respects them now.
Like he knows like if he wants the ultimate fight, they are the ones who are going to give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
So and I don't think it's going to be like a super like, oh, they're like fighting on the same side sort of thing, but like he is very much like probably going to break away from Ouroboros, do his own thing, and then you'll probably have to fight him at some point again. But it'll be like not like, oh, I'm doing bad stuff. He might be still doing bad stuff. Who knows? But it'll be like I need to test myself again. I need to have this big fight, and I know who to go find.
I figured that he'll probably still be doing some bad things, but also that like some of their goals might eventually align.
Yes,
and maybe not necessarily like Reen and crew at that point. Like he might just be working against Ouroboros behind the scenes because like they've apparently done something really bad to him.
Mm-hmm. He's got some beef.
Yeah, he's got. You know what? What's that song? What's that song with the lyric? The good lyric.
Tell your boyfriend if he says he's got beef that I'm a vegetarian and I ain't scared of him.
That one! Yeah! Yeah! Anyway.
I felt very vindicated about the McBurn quasi-turn. Because I remember I say that and you were like, McBurn's not going to do that.
You're right. Yeah, I mean it's maybe a half turn, but it's still.
I will take half credit for it.
No, you deserve full credit for that. I'm giving you full credit in the sense that like he's definitely not going to go along with Ouroboros' plans anymore.
Yeah, he's got some questions he wants answers to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you fight him, and then you go off and you have to fight Osborn.
Yep.
You beat up Osborn, and then you have to fight the Ebon Knight, Ishmelga. Mm-hmm. And then you fight that, and then you beat it, and you suck up all his powers, and you're like, everyone's like, yay, we win! And then Reen comes back and is like, okay, cool, I can do this. And then like, oh god, the curse is taking over Valimar and everything. And then Crow's like, oh god, I thought this was going to be a thing. Okay, question.
Yeah.
Before you go fight Osborn, there's a cutscene where Reen and Crow are like, all right, we gotta go do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go do the thing. Who stops and turns around and does a double take?
Elisa.
Okay. I figured that was going to be the case. Is that it's your locked in character there? Because it was Laura for me.
Was it?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
figured that was like the case. But yeah.
Um, there's also a scene before everything goes down that like Osborn and Reen have like a moment of talking.
Where like
And
Osborn's like not corrupted.
yeah, and he's like, Reen says at some point, like, we really are more alike than I would think. And like, it's nice to actually have a father and son moment with you, even if this is kind of sucked.
Yeah, like Osborn's just like, man, I'm kind of jealous that I left you off to Tio and everything. And Reen's like, yeah, I kind of think of him more of a dad than I do you.
Yeah. Get Osborn.
So he's just like, yeah, you're able to do this thing. Like, I'm proud of you. We can have a father-son moment here. Oh, by the way, you're gonna go and do some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you come back. Crow's immediately just like, oh god, and figures this happened. Williams is like, yeah, this is happening.
Yep.
And then Reen's just like, I'm gonna go break the atmosphere. See you guys later.
Yeah, he asked
Roll
Valimar, he's like,
credits.
do you think we can do it? And Valamar's like, yep, we got this. And so Crow and Milliam and Reen break into the atmosphere and the game is over.
I did not like that as a ending, quote unquote,
Yeah.
because like they don't explain what they're doing. It's like, we're going to go break the atmosphere, and that's it.
It's a suicide mission.
I mean, yes, but also it's like, do they think that going into space is going to destroy the curse? Are they going to float in space like cars?
I mean,
It's just like it's very just like haphazardly explained, I think.
the
like-
way I interpreted it is that by destroying Valimar, who is corrupted by
Yeah, like that's
it
also
destroys
kind
the
of how I get
curse.
it. Yeah, but like it just like it feels very weird. It's like, hey, we're gonna go break the atmosphere. Okay, bye. And that's it.
Yeah.
And
But
then
this
if you want
isn't the ending.
yeah, it basically is like, hey, if you've done this sort of thing, which is if you beat
The super boss.
the holy beast of earth, it's like, hey, save here. You can basically either go do the boss fights again, or you can reload after the boss fights, and then you will get the actual ending.
Yeah.
So you do that. Also, like when in the first ending, if you do that, Black Albrecht shows up and is like, ha 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 ha, ha, I'm evil.
Yeah.
And then basically, when you load in again, the same sort of stuff happens again, but then Black Albrecht shows up, but it's Franz, and he's like, hey, maybe don't do that. It's a bad idea. We got another idea. We should probably just like kind of pull out this cursed man, and then we got to go talk to him, and then you're gonna go fight this big boss.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Split up into the teams, and we'll fight the boss.
And so they're able to like transport everybody in. So you get like the Sky team in. and all
Basically,
that
it's like
jazz.
everyone's here.
Yeah. You got to fight the two side bits so that you can actually attack the main bit.
It's almost like it felt like if Final Fantasy VI had been remade, this would be the Kefka fight.
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
But yeah, you fight some like the lower parts of him, and then you fight like the top part, which is like has the most HP and everything. You beat up Ishmelga, and then Ishmelga's like, what the heck? I thought I was supposed to be like all cool and stuff, and like I get to corrupt people and everything, and do all this sort of stuff. And then he's like, oh, okay, never mind, I'm dead.
But he's like weird eyeball thing.
Yes, he's
like
very
an
like
eyeball
sad.
ball.
They're like, oh yeah, this is the Ebed Knights like AI or whatever that got corrupted by humanity, and this is what it turned into.
Just this blob of eyeballs.
Yeah. So you defeat that, and then you see that Crow starting to fade away again, along with Milliam. They're like, I guess this is what we told you. This is gonna happen. This is it. Gotta say goodbye. And then Valamar's is like, hey, about that, yo, that. Let me call my friends up.
Yeah, there's also a good scene where Reen's hair afterwards turns back to black, and Crow's like, "Good, I was tired of you taking my look."
It's very good.
I was like, "Yeah."
It's very funny. So yeah, Valabar calls up the other Divine Knights, and they're like, "Hello, everyone. We are here. What are we gonna do? The one thing? We're gonna do the one thing."
Yeah, we're gonna do the thing.
Franz is like, yeah, we're going to do the one thing. And then Rose shows up and is like, hey, we're going to do the one thing. Hello, I'm the Septarium of Fire. I am calling upon this plan. And then Franz is like, I'm the Septarium of something, and I'm also calling upon you to do this plan. And they're like, okay, cool. We can do this. Crow, congratulations. You are now going to be a human again, not an immortal.
Which is cool. They like have his skin color actually like get more color to it, and his hair turns a little bit more gray, so he actually looks more alive now, which was neat.
Milliam gets Milliam gets sucked back into the sword, but they're like, Franz is like, hey, so go to the Black Workshop. There's this like weird like little pod that you've seen a couple of times.
Make sure you take the sword.
Take the sword with you. Go there. Bring George or something. He'll be able to open it up for you. Good things will happen.
Have fun. And then Elisa's like, so what about you, Dad? And
he's like, look, I'm an immortal. I've been this way for like 10 years. They can't really do that twice for someone who's been an immortal this long. Like, I'm kind of a done deal.
But I'm proud of you, daughter.
I'm proud of you. Like, I was very happy I got to see you. Tell your mom and granddad and everyone I was said hello and goodbye and sorry, everything. Either way, congratulations. You've won.
That was a good way out.
Yeah. But yeah, Crow gets to come back. Reen's hair returns to its normal color and everything because he's no longer the sacrifice. Yep. Everyone's very happy and everything. They're also like very confused about what's going on with Milliam.
Yep.
But that is the thing. Then we go into this like big monologue from Reen. That's basically just kind of like, all right, so you know everything that just happened. Well, here's the after effects of what just happened.
And it's a lot, and it's important.
It's a lot of basically like a lot of the political interests of what happened. They're like, so the war kind of happened for like a couple hours or maybe like a day or something, and then they were like, all right, we're stopping the war. And then everyone that was not in Ereboni was like, what do you mean, what's going on? This is messed up.
Before we do this, wasn't there a scene with Rufus and Claire and Lecter that was before this?
Yes, you're correct. So like Rufus and Claire and Lecter are like, oh god, we're gonna get super trouble for this. And Rufus is like, don't worry guys, I will take the sword. I will fall on the sword. I will take all of the blame for this. I will be the war criminal. They are going to need you guys for when the country gets started back up, because there's going to be a lot of bad stuff that's about to happen.
Yeah.
Also, you see in the distance, Cedric and Shirley are hanging out, and Shirley's like, and Cedric's like, oh god, I have no idea what to do. I can't go back. Like, if I do, I'm going to face so much bad stuff, and I can't put all that on my family. And Shirley's like, you could come join me in Ouroboros. Like, we have room. We got spots open.
A lot of people left lately.
You got the opportunity to do whatever you want. We could basically make it seem like you disappeared, and like you wouldn't put all this blame on your family and everything. Like, you want to do that? And he's like,
you want to stay with me? Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. And he's like, I mean, I guess that would give me an opportunity to kind of do what Oliver did, and just like see the world and stuff. And I think that would be pretty cool and kind of help me out. So like, yeah, let's go do that. She's like, cool, let's go. See ya.
He's still a butthead.
So we get that, and then basically it's like, here's all these political implications about what happened.
Yeah.
Everyone's real mad at Erebonia.
Real mad.
Like, they're like, yo, what is happening? You are going to pay us like a lot of money.
Yep.
To fix things.
The nobles had to pay a lot of it. Mm-hmm. I forget. There's certain families that had to pay. I mean, I'm sure the Alberia family probably had to.
So like, basically they did a ceasefire basically kind of immediately, and basically brought a stop to everything. Maki's dad kind of led a lot of stuff of like trying to get things back in order and everything. But yeah, like Erebonia has to like pay a lot of money to a lot of countries for what they did, because they really messed up.
I know the royal family contributed to it, and Oliver and Alfin have to like go and basically do like a apology tour type thing.
Because like there's like a lot of people who are like not buying the royal family's like non-involvement in this, and like also Cedric's gone, so like they're very confused about that. So like Olivier's like, I'm going to go off and see the people and be like, hey, I will calm things down because I am a cool dude.
Yep. And Alpha goes with.
Yeah. Crossbell fights for their independence again, but there's a bunch of people in like Rufus's group that like try and like fight back against it, even though Rufus is like, hey, knock that off. We're not doing that. They're like, but my lord. So like the special support section and allies have to fight and regain Crossbell and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's
which
talk
we will see more of at some point,
presumably. There's talk about like North Alberia, and then Jurai.
Yeah,
are also like talking about becoming independent again.
But they're basically like, Jurai has been under this for so long that if they do try, like they're basically gonna deal with like an economic collapse.
Yeah, it's like it's very complicated on their end.
Yeah.
Per se.
North Ambria is the one you're looking for.
Yes. What else happens? Basically, it's just a lot of just like, here's the political fallout. Erebonia is real messed up right now. Like a lot of people, like there's a lot of confusion from the after effects of the Great Twilight and everything. Cedric's missing. He's presumably with Ouroboros, obviously.
Rufus, there's art of Rufus being arrested.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of unrest because people are just unsure of what just happened.
Yeah, which I mean, valid.
Very valid. But yeah, like it's a lot of kind of like here's some setup for some stuff later on.
Yep.
And then we get like actual credits that are set around a wedding.
A wedding! A royal wedding, actually.
A royal wedding because Olivier got married to Shara because he proposed to her at the theme park.
Yeah, he did. It was real cute.
That's the place you do it. It's a really good scene. I like that scene.
It was a really good scene, and Reen was a creeper and listened to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And also, Olivier knew that he heard the whole thing.
He did.
Because you talked to him the next day, and he's like, so did you get any inspiration from the Amazing Lovers?
The Sheriff's like, what do you mean?
I love him so much.
It's very good. A lot of people show up for the wedding.
I was so happy to see
new and old
people.
Class 7, the Crossbell folks, some Crossbell folks that weren't in the game, a lot of Trails in the Sky folks that were in the game. I saw Kevin. Kevin's like the only Trail in the Sky character outside of the ones that I know in this game that I know because he has green spiky hair and he's weird.
Yeah, so Kevin's there.
That's basically
with
it.
Reese, which is his assistant basically, and he's the Gralsritter.
Yeah.
So she's the one who basically helped him out in the third.
Mm-hmm.
You also at one point see Zen, who is the bracers are back in Erebonia, which is when you
the bracers are like a thing again.
Because you get to see Zen and you get to see Annalise, which I was like, yeah, Annalise, because she's got one mention in the game that Reen's like, oh yeah, there is another person who trained under my master. She's a bracer. She's out there. Like Annalise, she's one of the practitioners. So she's in one of the art scenes, and also like there are two secretaries in Sky that is like, oh my god, you guys are there. Anyway, back to the wedding. Kevin was there. I was excited. I kind of screeched again.
You see some other folks like Rixia, and then the other lady from the Archon Cells are there. Jonah and Sully are like in the very background by themselves. Yeah, a whole bunch of folks show up for this because obviously.
Yeah. It was really, really good. I was super happy about this. Reen's wearing a snazzy red vest. It's very nice.
Everyone gets dressed up very well.
Yeah. Kurt Vander's a happy boy. As he deserves to be. It was nice. I love the wedding.
It's very good.
It made me so happy.
And then you get a cool little snapshot of everyone. And they're like, this is the end of Trails of Cold Steel.
Thanks.
We'll see you again someday. And then there's like a bonus secret ending that you have to like reload into, which is very weird and bizarre.
Yeah, and like we talked about this, it kind of sucks, but like they have you prompt to save before Reen's whole monologue. And you have to reload that save or do a whole new playthrough. To see this scene, but they tack on another scene. Like after the wedding, you end up getting a scene with Reen. Like there's a picture of him and his love interest and his class. And he like answers the phone with whoever the girl is in his old room at Leaves.
Yes.
So it's after that scene.
Yeah. That scene's just kind of just like, oh, hey, your lady. Okay, cool. Gotta go. Bye.
Yeah. Which I was making a joke with you that the picture that they have of him and his class, and he's just like, hey guys, like we helped save the world and yay, I'm proud of you guys. Let's go get some ice cream. But this scene is extremely important. The one that they tack on as an extra scene. It's so important and it's missable. It's completely missable. It sets up the whole next arc.
It really does. Like, it's a big old Ouroboros scene.
This is the first time we've seen the Grandmaster.
You see the Grandmaster, Campanella's there, Maria Bell's there, and then someone else via speakerphone.
Yeah, they're like, so I think it was the first Anguist that was on speakerphone.
But they're also like, yeah, we lost like Joshua and Ren and Sharon, but like Vita's gonna come back. McBurn's probably gonna come back.
I miss Louve. They mentioned him too.
So all these folks that are gone or will come back. Also, we got some new folks. It's cool. They're like, yes, the latest part of our plan is moving forward. We are into the final stages of our plan.
Yeah, they basically said like, so this gives another, I think, 3 years. They're like, yeah, this is just,
It's a band-aid.
it's a band-aid that the world is still gonna end. And I was like, what? And I forgot what the name of the new plan is, but anyway.
I also, yeah.
That's setting up the next arc. How do you put that as an extra scene? You put that at the end.
The Eternal Recurrence Plan?
Oh wow, okay, that's a name.
That's what Wikipedia says, at least.
Yeah. But like the fact that we've seen the Grandmaster now, which we've only ever heard her voice before, so that's crazy. And Campanella is like still trying to deal with the fallout of everything. Like this is a huge deal.
Yes. So that is very interesting to see. I don't know if like any of that will pop up in Hajimari no Kisuke, or if that will be the next the next game in this series.
Yeah,
the Trail series.
The only thing that I know for sure shows up in Hajimari is Crossbell's Independence.
Yeah. We watched that opening, which has some wild stuff in it.
Yeah, you get to fight Kurt Vander's dad.
Some real interesting things that are happening there. So like obviously Hajimari is like a side story type deal.
Yeah.
So like I don't know how much of like time shenanigans are going to be in there in terms of like this story happens in this part of the story, or this one happens over here or whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see. But that's Trails of Cold Steel 4.
Yeah, we beat it and it's amazing.
That game's real good.
It's real good.
Real good.
I was very, very pleased, and it has made me a happy gal.
It made up for the fact that you couldn't download it for an entire day.
Yeah, that launch was a mess.
That was a whole mess of a launch. Holy crap.
Yeah.
How do you bungle a launch that badly?
It was a hot mess. And like I couldn't get the DLC for a good while, even though I got the game physically, and it was a disaster. But the game eventually came out, and it's fantastic, and it made me very, very happy. And I will eventually New Game Plus it, so I can get the rest of the bonding events and also experience it again, because that's what I do as a person. And I will just sit here and hope that. Well, we probably got to get Hajimari. I'm pretty sure that's like a guarantee. I really hope we get the Crossbell games.
Yeah, same.
And then after that, we just wait for the new arc, which I think they're working on.
Yeah, they've announced that they're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
They just obviously haven't shown anything because
things are happening.
Like Hajimari just came out, so
yeah. This has been a ride. Can you believe this all started because we played Tokyo Xanadu?
Right?
Thank you, Tokyo Xanadu.
What a good game. Also, these are very good games. This is a good series.
This is a very good series. I can't recommend it enough to people.
Yeah.
It's like taken over as my favorite JRPG series.
It's really good.
Get out of here, Persona.
Like I said, like there's so much stuff in this game that like it's wild that they're able to like
tie it all together.
Tie in stuff from a game that came out 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like we were talking, like you said, the Persona thing. Like I wish Persona would win this direction. Like
yeah.
Persona 2 Eternal Punishment is the series going in this direction.
Yeah.
Where they have like characters from one show up and are like, hey, we got to help you guys out because we also are experienced with what's happening right now, and we also want to make sure things aren't going to go bad.
Yeah.
Like God, imagine if that series kept going in that direction. But regardless, this is a great series.
Instead, we got 5.
Yeah. The series rules.
Rules. Reen's a good boy. Everybody should love Kurt Vander. Olivier is like the ultimate character here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude has been playing games this whole time, and like you were saying, like people probably would not have expected when they played first chapter of Sky that like this weird dude who wants to play the lute all the time is going to be like the most important character in the entire freaking series.
Yep.
Dude is just like a genius and just like he's ahead of you on everything. God, I love him.
It's a wild, wild ride.
Yeah. Good job, Olivier. I'm glad that you got to marry your lady and only lost an eye in the process.
Get to wear 2 eye patches.
Oh my god, I can't believe you put 2 eye patches on him.
It's the only way to be.
I got to wear the I love fishing thing though. It was great.
You did.
Yeah. Is that gonna wrap it up?
That's going to wrap it up.
Game's good.
If you would like more from us, go to seasonalcheckup.com or sec.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Checkup and Jared and Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you want more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup. Buy our books, One Shining Moment, a critical analysis of Love Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon. Mm-hmm. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SAZOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, bonus episodes, all sorts of fun stuff. Next week, we'll talk about something. Don't know that far ahead. I got 3 hours of podcast to edit at some point.
Whoops.
It's a thing.